12, 20, 24, 5. And now match 6. The numbers are 15, 13, 18, 6, 34, 37. Thanks for playing the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day.
Philadelphia Live on Fox Local and all streaming platforms. My apologies for just a little bit behind. We were getting caught up because there's a lot going on. So a little bit of a pause, but we are here with you now, jumping into all sorts of topics. So what we will get into over the next couple of hours here, the live discussion, the streaming. There are elected officials that are still, I'm looking over to my left because as of about 15 minutes ago, there was still an ongoing discussion and debate about funding TSA and what to do with the Department of Homeland Security. It's been going on all day, and we have some of the clips for you that we will play a little bit later, but it was just going on. So we're going to see if they're still on the floor having that discussion. There are long lines continuing across the country. It's something that we have continued to follow. And it is, I think it was 5 weeks now, or multiple paychecks that TSA workers have missed out on. And now we have reporters who are spread across the country and are following those numbers, the number of call outs and or just flat out quitting the job. As TSA workers. The percentage is here in Philadelphia, it's almost 30%. In Atlanta, it was more than 40% of the people who are just deciding not to go to work. Our Chelsea Torres will break that down for us coming up. They also are starting to see the repercussions and the consequences. And so here in Philadelphia, there was actually a TSA food bank giveaway. So let's put that in context. You have individuals who were gainfully employed, were at the airports every day, were doing some pretty significant, sometimes hard and challenging work. And they were positions that were largely respected. And then as this started happening, we started getting a better understanding for just how little money some of the people that you're getting angry at when the lines get really long are actually making. Somewhere between $16 and $20 an hour. The average salary was short of $50,000. And then you realize that these are folks that are going on multiple months of not receiving a paycheck. You understand why people are calling out. I think it was nearly 500 so far have quit, and upwards of 40% a day are calling out sick. So we will get into that. There is more news with sports. The weather continues to fluctuate. Fuel prices continue to move around in response to what's going on in Iran. There are statements about a potential compromise, and then those statements are being denied. So there's a lot going on. And there is our social media question of the day that always gets spirited. So I will put it out there for you before we start getting to our guests, our weather updates, and what have you. So, how much is your time worth? Chris is here behind me. He's coming in to produce. Judea is here off to my left. How much is your time worth if you're sitting there waiting in a 4-hour line at TSA? $50 an hour? $100 an hour? How much is your time worth? There is an individual, and now they are starting to pop up across the country. Entrepreneurial individuals have started businesses where they will wait in the line for you. So you don't have to wait in the long TSA lines. They will wait in line for you with your bags if you have them, up to 2 bags. You tell them where to meet you, tell them where to go. They will wait in the line, and as it gets closer, they will text you, call you, whatever, tell you to come take their spot and then they will go about their way. You pay them. Now, the issue is, depending on the airport where you are, depending on a bunch of different things, it can run $100 an hour. It could run even more than that. So is it worth it to you? If you had to wait in line for 5 hours, if you had concerns about making your flight, if you had questions about the certainty, are you willing to pay somebody to wait in line for you at the TSA checkpoint? So we've got all of that going on. But first, let's go figure out what's going on with our weather. We'll start things off with our Scott Williams. No? All right. I'm sorry, guys. There's a lot of stuff going on. So we're trying to figure out. So we can't go to weather right now. We have to pause on weather for just a second. We will get there. I'm sitting here watching Scott over in the monitor, and Scott's giving the thumbs up. Scott's acting as if he's all good. So we will get that situated in just a second. So I go back to the question, and that's the question of the day. At Bill A. Fox 29 on social media. That's on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook. I'm Bill Anderson, Fox 29. So would you pay somebody to wait in that line for you? And a couple people have already started to respond. Some of the comments, as is always the case when these start to get spirited. Mama Sue says, absolutely not, but some people have more money than brains, so they would be willing to do it. Someone else, Zeus says, I respect the hustle, but the prices that this person is asking for and these businesses are asking for are outrageous and unreasonable. I don't think that I would do it, but I'm also really cheap. So I think if I had, laugh at me, I'm just being honest. I'm cheap. I would be the person who actually would wait in line for somebody else. If you're gonna pay me $100 an hour to wait in line, I'd just sit there and do social media while you go ahead and pay me. But I respect the hustle, and I think that it is a business that there are people who will step up there. Now, hopefully, it is not a business that we need for very long as they go ahead and get things addressed. So we're going to go and expand on that discussion, the reason behind this, and we're going to get things going with weather, but the reason behind this, excuse me, and coming up in just a second, part of the reason that we're having this discussion is because our Chelsea Torres is in Houston at a busy airport and experiencing those long lines, and that's one of the places where people are getting paid to wait in line for folks. So let's take a quick break, and then we will come back and dive right into it. Again, you can answer the question of the day at Fox 29 Philly on all social media platforms, at Bill A. Fox 29 on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Love to hear from you. We'll take a quick break and jump right into it. This is Philadelphia Live on Fox Local and streaming platforms. We are up and running on TikTok, so I will go ahead and get into that chat room so we can interact, keep it interactive. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. It's Philadelphia Live on Fox Local and all streaming platforms. Good afternoon, good evening actually. And I was just telling you about the new entrepreneurial spirit. There are now people who are accepting payment to wait in those long lines. Our Chelsea Torres is in Houston, one of those places where we've seen those long lines. Chelsea, people have now started businesses. The lines have gotten so crazy.
Definitely do a lot. You could take a nap while you're in line as long as you have somebody that's walking you through, because you will be here for hours. Now, I will tell you, earlier today, I spoke to quite a few people. I walked with them in the TSA line for just a little bit, but they got here about 6 hours before their flight was supposed to board. For them, they had already been waiting a handful of hours before I got a chance to talk to them. Many were in good spirits, but they did say that they believe lawmakers on Capitol Hill just need to do their jobs.
Politicians, get yourself together and do the work of the people that we put you in office to do.
I think people are frustrated and they're ready for the politicians on the Hill to get this resolved. And there's no reason they shouldn't.
So here at George Bush Intercontinental, lines began downstairs and wrapped around outside before finally making it to the security checkpoint. Only 2 out of the 5 terminals here are open for TSA screening, leaving passengers waiting for hours. Federal immigration agents are also here to help as TSA officers go another week without a paycheck. Homeland Security says 480 TSA officers have quit since DHS funding lapsed in mid-February. And many are calling out to work jobs that will actually help pay the bills. Some of the busiest airports in the country that are seeing major call-outs, well, one is here at Bush, one of the worst in the nation with nearly 40%. Across town at Hobby Airport, they're just about 43%. Even in New York, JFK, almost 37%, Atlanta, 36%, even in New Orleans, 35% of call-outs. And this afternoon, the acting TSA administrator said the agency has been shut down for half of the current fiscal year.
95%, or more than 61,000 of TSA's employees must continue working without pay during a shutdown. Paying these dedicated employees for the work they are performing should never be a point of debate.
And Bill, you can see behind me, the line is still pretty full. It's moving, but it is going down a little bit. You know, this time yesterday, we actually saw a lot less people. So it's interesting to see how the day kind of goes every day, whether it's slower or busier. In the mornings, though, it definitely is much busier. And for a lot of these lawmakers, well, this could last until April if those lawmakers in D.C. do not come to a final resolution. Mind you, even President Trump right now is blaming Democrats for the mess at airports and even considering bringing in the National Guard to bring in more help. Bill?
I'm curious. So 2 things. One, for people who are getting ready to travel, depending on where you are in the country, it's either spring break now or spring break next week or what have you. Is there, there's no way to anticipate what's going to happen, right? It's just changing day to day and you kind of find out when you get there.
Yeah, actually, that's exactly what's happening, at least here. Mind you, at Hobby Airport, which is on the other side of town, which is mostly Southwest Airlines, they haven't really seen much of these long lines. But here at Bush Intercontinental, truly, if you get here, mind you, I talked to a lot of people this morning. Every single person got there 6 hours before their flight. So again, it really does depend. Most of this afternoon, Bill, it was kind of empty. It was maybe at most an hour waiting in the security line, and then it filled up again. And now I'm seeing that it's starting to slow down a little bit, but you really don't know. The best thing to do is to pay attention to your airport's wait times and just hope that when you get there that it's pretty accurate. But again, it's very difficult for a lot of people, and now a lot of travelers are becoming more frustrated.
And then one more question. So the president is talking about the potential for bringing in the National Guard. ICE, immigration officers, are already helping out at various airports, but they're not performing the TSA duties. So they're not actually directly leading to the lines moving any faster. They're just kind of helping keep people in order and more comfortable.
And that's all it really is. You know, even today when it was jam-packed here, people downstairs, upstairs, outside with lines, really they were kind of going around. I even saw some agents giving out some lollipops to people that were standing outside. So it's almost like in some cases they could be a morale boost for people that are just having to wait here for hours. But, you know, it's almost like a maze. It's so interesting, a maze, how the airport has been able to create this type of TSA line. And so these agents that are here, they're really just helping that line flow and kind of keep it just moving steady instead of a standstill.
Okay, tomorrow is another day, Chelsea. We will continue to hope for the best. Thank you very much for your updates, and we'll check in with you again.
Thanks, Bill.
In the next hour. Absolutely. All right, I think we got everything worked out, so we can go to Scott, find out what's going on with our weather update. Looking pretty good outside, Scott, throughout the day. It's supposed to be beautiful tomorrow. So, you know, no complaints.
Absolutely. I mean, temperatures today were about where we should be for this time of year, Bill, topping out in the 50s. And get ready for soaring temperatures for tomorrow. I mean, forget about March, forget about April. It is going to feel like the middle of May stepping outdoors, and perfect timing for the Field's home opener with those temperatures soaring into the 70s. Today's high temperatures about where we should be for this time of year, mid to upper 50s pretty much area wide. The average high this time of year 56 degrees. Philadelphia maxed out at 57 degrees. It was in the upper 50s for Reading. Berks County, it was 56 in Trenton. Allentown had a temperature this afternoon of 57 degrees. So let's talk a little bit about those numbers right now. Dipping into the 40s, especially down the shore where that ocean influence is keeping those temperatures a little chillier temperatures. Low 50s still for Philadelphia at this hour, and we're looking at temperatures mid 50s still in Berks County, upper 40s for Wilmington. So the overall theme will be for temperatures to fall into the mid to upper 40s for the overnight. That will be about 10 degrees above average for this time of year. I mean, we should be bottoming out in the mid to upper 30s, but take a look at the numbers for the overnight. 10 degrees above average for Philadelphia, bottoming out at 47 degrees. We're looking at low 40s for Allentown, and those temperatures will be in the low 40s for the shore points as well. So with temperatures mid to upper 40s as a starting point for your Thursday, those temperatures are really going to soar. I mean, we are talking about numbers getting into the 70s. So here's the bottom line. Look at the numbers. First pitch temperatures will be in the low 70s, a mixture of sun and clouds out there. Cloud cover will increase during the game, but the good news is the rainfall is going to hold off. We do have rain in the forecast for overnight Thursday into Friday, at least the first part of the day. Damp and dreary, and those temperatures are going down pretty much the entire day on Friday. We'll start around 60 degrees with those temperatures. Fall into the 30s overnight Friday into Saturday. And yes, Saturday high temperatures will be stuck in the 40s, and we're talking low to mid 40s. That is more typical for January. So a little bit of a shock to the system for the upcoming weekend, but those temperatures for Sunday going back into the mid 50s, which is really where we should be for this time of year. Now take a look at this 10-day temperature trend, because we have that little hiccup in the forecast for the upcoming weekend, but we're back into the mid to upper 60s for the last couple of days for the month of March. And then those temperatures for April 1st, April Fools, no fooling, we're looking at numbers back into the mid 70s. So starting the month of April, more typical of the middle part of May, but it can snow in the month of April. So I feel like April could have a few more twists and turns in the forecast, as well as the threat for a few more frosty overnights. So we're typically not out of the woods for the frost and freeze concern for Philadelphia until the middle part of April. Some of those outlying suburbs, we're talking late April, even into early May. That's why we typically say postpone planting those tender plants and sensitive vegetation until at least Mother's Day. Bill?
Yeah, so it's not going to snow. You guys just told me I could take my snowblower down into the basement now. Now you're saying
Well, yeah, you can take your snowblower down, but if we get any snow, it would just be, you know, maybe a few flakes, maybe a coating at the most. That April sun angle is going to be really strong, so yeah, I don't think we'll need the snow blowers anymore.
Now, let's not put that out in the universe. We're not even going to speak that into existence. Thank you, Scott. We will
Yes.
check in with you in just a little bit. Yeah, no snow. It's going to be 75 tomorrow. We've put the snow behind us. Going to take a quick break, and then we will come back, keeping with the theme that we have started off with, what's going on at the airports, TSA, Department of Homeland Security. It's gotten so bad or concerning that communities are coming together here locally and providing food giveaways to those TSA agents who have missed multiple paychecks. Our Shawnette Wilson will tell us about that after the break. Stay tuned. It's 7:23 here on Philadelphia Live, Fox Local, and all streaming platforms. Chat room is up and running on TikTok, Fox 29 Philly, on YouTube, Fox 29 page, on Facebook, Fox 29, and you can follow me and comment Bill A. Fox 29 on Instagram, TikTok, Bill Anderson Fox 29 on Facebook. Just we're everywhere. We want to interact with you and keep the conversation going. So we have spoken multiple times about what's going on at the airports, what's happening with TSA, the long waits, the missed paychecks. Our Shawnette Wilson is at the airport now here in Philadelphia, but a little bit earlier was at one of these food giveaways. And Shawnette, people are just trying to help because this just continues to get more and more serious as they miss paychecks and the wait times just keep getting longer.
Yeah, Bill, this is a serious situation. We're talking about people not getting paid, having to make a decision or a choice, I should say. If they have money, we have to pay bills. We have to put food on the table. Some people have kids. We have to pay daycare. So this is a huge situation that these TSA workers are dealing with here. So earlier today, this evening, from 3 to 6, we were out at Compassion Church. Christian Compassion Church. They have partnered with State Rep Almond Brown and also another organization called Caring for Friends and a couple of other organizations to basically do like a food box giveaway for TSA workers specifically today. So we stopped by and what they did was they set up tables outside the church and just had food out. You can see in the video fresh food, fresh fruits, vegetables, but also some desserts. They had bread and just other things that people could come and get a box and fill up and basically take what they need, just as the way to try to lighten the load that these workers are dealing with and how it is affecting them and their families, their households. I talked to State Rep Almond Brown about some of the stories that he heard from some of the workers who stopped by. Here's one that he shared with me.
I walked one lady to her car and she started bursting out in tears, and she shared with me that she hasn't had food on her refrigerator for 2 weeks until today. right? So that's the importance of partnerships with myself, the church, and Caring for Friends and other organizations who all made this possible.
All right, so that's, hard to fathom, right, Bill? Just someone saying they didn't have food in their refrigerator for 2 weeks. And so, there were some workers there, as I mentioned. We were relying on him to share some things that they shared with him because the workers, in most cases, didn't feel comfortable talking on camera. It's a heavy weight, and I understand that a lot of them are also having trouble explaining this to their kids. They have kids, they have families to provide for, and so they were a little shy about, wanting to talk on camera. I did get to speak to the union rep for the workers, which we'll share some of what she said when we come up at 10 o'clock tonight. And she, just shared that, they're facing a lot of backlash and criticism, which is why a lot of the workers also don't want to speak publicly. They also, like we do, read what's on social media and have a hard time with people criticizing them, saying, things like, do your job, or, you should have saved. Did you manage your money correctly? All of those negative things that we know are not the case. So again, understandably, they did not want to talk on camera today, but just a big shout out to State Rep Almond Brown and the church and these other community organizations who have gotten together and said, we're going to do what we can do. And, this is what, churches are supposed to do in our community as well, right? So even though today was for TSA workers, all they had to do was come up and show ID. There were other families who are just struggling in the times that we're in right now who showed up and said, hey, can we get something? And as, the giveaway started to wind down, they had no problem, giving food to other struggling families in the community. But I'm pretty sure that we will see more events like this, Bill, as, this continues. A lot of these families, the union president said, are even still struggling from the last shutdown, which lasted for 43 days. So this is, something that we're hoping there will be some resolution to, and that this will, like I said, things like this will help these families, kind of fill in the gap until there is some resolution.
Yeah, it's crazy though, and you were out there, and I think part of what's frustrating as an onlooker is that these individuals with no food in their refrigerator, having to make these difficult choices, this all happened to them, not because of them. Like, this isn't a work stoppage or a walkout or somebody who decided they don't like the conditions so they're not going to come to work. These are elected officials who won't fund it and are still saying, keep working. And let's be clear, the average paycheck for them is like $50,000, which is certainly more than poverty, but it's not enough money for you to not get paid for 2 months.
Absolutely. And listen, life's, right? So there are plenty of people, who are working well-paying jobs, and in some cases are living paycheck to paycheck with the cost of everything going up from food to gas, it all. But again, to your point, this is again why I said I understand why some of the workers, didn't feel comfortable talking, because they're reading and hearing all these comments from people on social media who, just I'll say it, have no compassion or clearly don't understand what's going on, because as you mentioned, this is not a position that these workers put themselves in. So it's a lot of stress to have to read negative things or hear negative things that people are saying about you, when the bigger issue is, how am I going to provide for my family, period. How am I going to provide for my family, period. And even the union president said, she's affected by this. She's in the same, situation. She's a TSA worker. She's also the union president, but she feels like she has to keep on, keep up the strong face to, keep the workers going, even though she is being faced with the same things. You mentioned their salary as well. She was mentioning how, when they do start to get paid again, the effect of, all of this money possibly going on one check, and then the taxes, and that's a whole different thing. So, they're going to really be behind trying to pay catch up for many reasons, even once they start to get paid again.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that people need to have it. And I will admit, Shawnette, that seeing your stories and other people's stories have opened my eyes. Like, I didn't realize the salaries of TSA workers. I didn't realize some of the things that people were dealing with. And let's be real. 2 months, if you're not getting paid for 2 months, your third month, your house can go into foreclosure. Like, if you miss mortgage payments, that happens. If you miss a couple of months of bills, then you start getting additional penalties and everything else. That's a hole that's tough to dig out of.
Yeah, so the union president actually mentioned that as well, something along those lines about, there's some workers who've had their cars, taken. She mentioned, people who are paying child support. She mentioned, landlords who aren't accepting, the letter that's, they are presented to give to people. They're not honoring that. So you're right. All kinds of things like that are happening. And so, it makes you feel for the situation they're in. It really does.
All right, thank you, Shawnette. We will see more of those comments from the union leader a little bit later on in your story in the 10 o'clock. We appreciate you. And guys,
All
it's
right.
just like, listen, when you hear Shawnette telling those stories, Shawnette is out in those communities talking to people, and we reminded you yesterday that most of us, many of us, live in the same communities, are interacting. These are our cities as well. I'm a lifetime Philadelphian. So the understanding of what people are dealing with, we have bills. People just got finished with an extremely cold winter, so utility bills and things that are stacking up. And now you're going on to month 2 without a paycheck. I mean, that is a struggle. And the TSA workers are not wealthy. You know who is? 80+% of the Congress and Senate. 70+% of the Congress and Senate are millionaires. And yet they can't come together to make sure that people who make $50,000 are getting their paycheck. I will stop editorializing there for just a second, but they need to figure this out. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we will continue on with the discussion. This is Philadelphia Live on Fox Local and all streaming platforms. You can jump in. Some of the discussion is taking place on TikTok, the Fox 29 page, on YouTube, and other social media platforms. So jump in. We'd love to hear from you as well. Quick break, and we'll be right back. Back here on Fox Local. It's Philadelphia Live, and as I said, I'm reading some of the comments from the chat rooms, interactive. We love to hear from you. One from Robbins Getaway in TikTok says, reminder, not getting paid, but they're still putting out money for gas and tolls, still need to pay babysitters, childcare, breaking down all of that. Others go on. Expo says that they should sue the federal government for all their losses and for the inconveniences that they have to deal with. All true, but suing the federal government for the federal government not passing a budget bill is unlikely to go anywhere and just cost you additional money to go forward with the lawsuits. Let's break away from that for a minute. We've got a lot of discussion that took place earlier as the elected officials went back and forth, but tomorrow is opening day. It's time for our Phils to get at it, and Marcus is here with sports. So Marcus, are you excited? Are you ready to get to it?
Hey, Bill. I assume you're bringing me your beautiful attention, so I'm just going to recap some sports that I found out that's going on. Sixers right now, they're up 5. Joel Embiid's actually back from the game, or back from injury. He had a right oblique strain. He actually has 15 of the team's first 31 points, but also, as we all know, Paul George is back. He hasn't contributed much in terms of points, but he's still getting some rebounds. He's got an assist. So he's still contributing. But, I mean, it's still early. He's back from his 25-game suspension. So no judgment there. But he should be fine.
So can you hear me now? Marcus cannot hear me. So we are having a challenge.
Oh, this is special. This is special. What if I don't?
We're trying to figure out technical difficulties. You go ahead and talk to them. I will be back here.
That guy right there? That guy?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to
That's
talk
me.
to him. Right.
So Joel is back.
Yes,
He's
Joel
out
is
there
back.
doing big things.
This is weird. I feel like I'm talking to a witness protection here. Like, so yeah.
Are you excited about opening day tomorrow?
Yeah, I would say I'm definitely excited about opening day. Dark shadow in the background. I mean, we got a couple days until opening day. The Phillies actually finalized their roster. Justin Crawford, he is officially going to be the starting center fielder. We got a couple of injuries actually from the Phillies in terms of pitching. Zach Wheeler's on the 15-day IL, Max Lazar is on the 15-day IL, as well as Orion Kerkering, a name that a lot of Philly fans aren't exactly a fan of hearing. But yeah, he'll be on the 15-day IL as well. And also Rafael Marchand, he's actually going to be the backup catcher for the Phils while Garrett Stubbs is designated for assignment.
Before I go back into the closet back there, like, what do you know about the new wide receiver that the Eagles signed? They're saying that it's one of A.J. Brown's best friends.
I was going to say, he's definitely a close friend of A.J. Brown, and I think that for those that still think that A.J. is not going to still be with the team, I mean, I feel like that's one of the ways that he is slowly going to be persuaded, if he wasn't already, to be with the team. But Elijah Moore, 1-year deal with the Eagles. He's bounced around to a few different teams like Buffalo and Denver. He should be a good backup for maybe like a 4th or 5th option for the Eagles. So, I mean, the more weapons for Jalen, the better.
All right, I'm going to go back in there. Why don't you toss us the break? We know they can hear you. Not sure if they can hear me.
Well, as the star of this wonderful 3-hour show, I would like to wish you all adieu. We'll be right back.
Philadelphia Live on Fox Local. And as you have seen, everybody who is watching on Fox Local and all streaming platforms, sometimes live means adjusting to whatever challenges present themselves, some of the technical difficulties that pop up. We're going to be here with you and for you 24 hours a day on the streaming platforms, whether or not technology decides to cooperate. So we will do what we need to do to make sure we are keeping you informed, make sure we're getting all of the information to you. We are continuing on with the discussion about the impact about how all of this national and international news continues to hit us. So we are still involved in the conflict with Iran. We are continuing to see how it's impacting our economy. And our Liviana Calmes has been looking into this, because one of the things that we are seeing, Liviana, is that the gas prices and oil prices, all of that continues to rise.
They do, and as this continues, we're really starting to feel that impact. Families across the nation really is starting to hit home for them. And it's not just what that number is at the gas station. It's also all that you might have to give up just to cover the gas prices that we're seeing. And those prices are now sitting at just under $4 a gallon nationwide. They're even higher here in Illinois at $4.23. And drivers haven't seen prices this high on a national average since back in 2022. Most people are already feeling the impact. According to one survey, more than half of Americans say higher gas prices are affecting their finances. Stanford economists say it could add up to about $740 per household this year if prices stay high. One ministry in Northwest Indiana says they're seeing the impact play out in real time.
You take a single mother who's trying to provide for her kids. I mean, you have the cost of food has gone up. You have the cost of childcare has gone up. They're having to go to work, and now instead of spending $25 or $30 a week just to get back and forth to work and take care of their errands, they're spending upwards of $60 a week. That was unbudgeted for. It's unsaved for.
And I like this. To help meet that need, the group is distributing gas cards whenever they see someone in need, trying to give people just enough to keep moving. And with demand likely to go up during the summer driving season, prices could stay high in the months ahead. According to Gas Buddy, though, the best time to fill up is on Sunday, when drivers can save about 4 to 9 cents per gallon if you time it right. I'll send it back to you.
So is there, and part of that timing, and we've had AAA say similar things, but that's based on, I guess, some sort of ability to predict what's going to happen, right? Some level of consistency. Right now, we don't know what's going on from day to day, except it's rising. So we're still trying those strategies?
Yeah, I mean, we know that in driving season that it's going to go up. The demand goes up, really. So we know that we can expect that this summer. I don't know about you, but I know road trip season is the summer for sure. But if we're staying with the trend of how much things cost right now because of this conflict, then we'll continue to see this for months, for a longer time. I talked to a Gas Buddy expert and analyst, and he said that the hard thing about this is you don't know how long you're going to have to budget this for, and that really is the question for so many families across the nation right now.
Yeah, it's challenging for all of us if you don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. But thank you, Oliviana, for keeping us as informed as anyone can, not knowing what's going to happen from day to day. We will continue to check in with you. That's Oliviana Calmes with the update. And that's the challenge that we continue to face, because there are financial and economic concerns in a lot of different areas. The gas prices continue to go up because of the conflict in Iran. Prices continue to go up on flights, if that's your alternative, because of both the conflict in Iran, but also with the workers that are walking off, with the lack of funding. There's all of these things that all have come together for a perfect negative economic storm. And then you kind of mix in the fact that this week through probably about the second week in April is all spring break travel season, with people with all of these planned trips that now continue to see additional surcharges, additional expenses. It just gets more and more expensive. So hopefully there are some things that we can address in the very near future. Let's take a break. When we come back, we will find out what's going on with the trending topics, the things that you are searching on the web, the things that are the hottest stories with our Fox29.com web team. Trending topics with Cam after the break. Philadelphia Live on Fox Local, all streaming platforms. Shout out to all the people who are in the various chat rooms. We try to dip in every now and then so we can answer some of your questions, address some of your concerns. That's at Fox 29 on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook, on YouTube. I'm at Bill A. Fox 29 on all platforms. Bill Anderson on Facebook. But as I said, as we were going to break, the stories that you are searching, the topics that you are interested in, our web team, Cam, steps up with the trending topics. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Bill?
I'm great, thank you.
Love geeking out over the trending stories and looking at what everyone is looking at across the nation and also on Fox29.com, our more local viewers. But nationally, this one story has been trending all day, and I know you spoke about this a little earlier, but the jury is holding Instagram and YouTube accountable for the social media addiction trial. And so we have more information on all of those details on Fox29.com, but it is a story that is just trending and blowing up everywhere. It is quite the story, and it makes a lot of sense why the jury would find the social media platforms, liable for these filters and all of the things that might enhance a photo. And unfortunately, there was a young woman who suffered some mental health issues because of this. So this whole social media addiction trial is trending in many different ways, but we all have those details on Fox29.com. And another thing that I wanted to bring up, there's a new COVID-19 variant that is circulating across multiple states in the country. And so that BA 3.2, it's been detected in wastewater samples. And so we have more information on all of the states who have been impacted, that's been found in so far, and what to do next on Fox29.com.
Two things. One, the first story, and we're going to just play a soundbite when we come back and talk about that one. That potentially has ongoing repercussions when they are holding these social media platforms accountable for the potential addiction or damage that they may cause to young people. Like, that could be huge.
Absolutely, because we see these filters they keep evolving, and we see new things with AI and whatnot. So it's definitely a landmark, how we have in our headline. It's definitely a landmark type of trial, and you're right, it is ongoing, could be ongoing.
Well, and as far as it goes with the COVID-19 variant, there are still people who are out there getting fairly regular vaccines. So new variants are not that new. I think what might be a challenge now is that fewer and fewer people are getting the vaccine. So it remains to be seen the impact that
spike,
could have.
Maybe, but yeah, people are getting their vaccines. And we were wondering, why that one in particular was just surging, and it's spiked is what we call it on the web and on social media. But I think it's also because we know all of these states that are involved, people are just want to make sure if it is their state, isn't their state, and what steps to take next.
Cam, thank you very much. We will check in with you again in a little bit.
Perfect. Thank you, Bill.
You take care. And as Cam was pointing out in the trending topics, there was this kind of landmark case that was holding these social media platforms accountable for some of the, in quotes, damage that they were doing to young people for various reasons. Now, people are still kind of maneuvering through what all of that means, the impact that it should have or could have going forward. But right after the ruling came down, there was a Q&A, kind of a press conference, where some of the people and the parties involved were expressing their thoughts on the verdict. Here's what they had to say.
Let me talk about the message that's sent already. This message is one that's important to Kaylee and her family, but it's of very great importance to a generation of people who have been affected. We've had a number of family members who have been so diligent to be here to lend moral support, prayer support, emotional support during this trial. There are so many families who've been tragically hurt through the addiction of social media. And while we've never been able to talk about the content of what these social media platforms can do, that's protected under the judge's rulings, we have been able to talk about the features. And we've sent a message with this that you will be held accountable for the features, regardless of whether the children are getting sent pornographic pictures, regardless of whether they're being sexploitated, regardless of those types of issues. Just because of the features alone that drive addiction, these companies can be held accountable. That's a huge message for these companies.
We have fought on Capitol Hill to get reforms through. Nobody heard us. Capitol Hill, hear us now. If it was not for these trial lawyers to get us to this place in time, we would not have this opportunity today to show the world the harms that big tech knew they were doing. So enough. Invite us parents to Capitol Hill. Let's fix this. Big tech, us. Let's make this world a better place. But parents, we need you to join in with us because it stops today. Big tech, your gig is over.
Yep. But I'd really still like to see these companies, do what's needed to design their platforms safely for kids now and in the future. And as we move on to AI, that's even more important because kids are dying from AI chatbots as we speak. And that's not okay either. So we need to pull them in or it's just going to be out of control. So
I was honest about how old my son was 5 years ago. They knew he was 15 and still a predator with 50 fraudulent accounts was able to contact him and lure him and shame him in 5 hours. And they knew he was 15. They didn't let him use Marketplace because he wasn't old enough. Sure, I want age verification, but I know how smart these kids are. The platforms have to have a duty of care. They have to have transparency and reporting like every other industry. No more denying that they know what they are doing.
We shouldn't have to keep their customers safe on their product. Like, we shouldn't have to do that. That is not all down to the parents. They know this. And if social media was the gateway drug, AI is like the crack and heroin, and it moves fast. And tech moves very fast, and government does not. So they need to catch up because by the time we get legislation, this is a victory, and we all feel vindicated. But until it has to be coupled with legislation, because this could just be like, okay, this is just the cost of doing business. And then they go back to doing it. And we hope that that's not the case. So it has to be coupled with legislation.
Yeah, and again, for our legislators, there are bills on the table in the House right now. The Senate version of the Kids Online Safety Act. We worked for years to get that passed in the Senate in 2024, 91-3. That's what we're looking for, that version, not the House version, but the Senate version. And also talking about what we're going to do about Section 230. Reforming Section 230 so we can have a voice and we can take action against these companies. That's the only way they're going to stop is we hit them in their pocketbook. So we need to really look at this and understand where we are right now with this law that is 30 years old. We need to reform it, and we no more excuses anymore that it's just impossible. Nothing is impossible. And our kids' lives depend on it, and the future of this country depends on it, because those kids are going to be the ones that are supposed to lead our country. What are we going to do if they can't even think or talk and so depressed and anxious? I mean, come on, wake up.
It is an interesting dynamic, and it is a challenging question, and it tiptoes the lines. When I present this and have questions on it, there is a fine line between opening it for discussion and being a hypocrite, because so many of us talk about the social media platforms, use the social media platforms to engage with you, use them for questions and comments. But at the same time, I understand the concerns that people have about the image that it is creating, the false narrative that social media in a lot of times can go out there and create, and particularly for young people. There's been an ongoing discussion about how social media shows someone else's highlight reel, and you oftentimes compare that to your everyday life. And if you are too deeply involved in it, or young, like many of us are adults, so we hopefully have a little bit better understanding of it. But if you're too young to really understand that everyone's life is not what social media presents, and yours is not bad because theirs looks so good, you see the impact that that can have on young people, the damage that it can have, and apparently the courts saw it as well with a multi-million-dollar ruling. Now, what that means going forward remains to be seen. Let's take a quick break. First hour went by quickly with a lot of information. We'll be right back to pick it up in the 8 o'clock hour. It's Philadelphia Live on Fox Local. Stay tuned. Social media and the impact that it's having on people. During the break, we were just talking about the impact of social media and the things that it is impacting here and in the media, and it is just it's a growing tool but it also can be both positive and negative. Continuing on with the discussion, getting caught up on everything that's taking place, and I can see that Kathy Orr is there and ready to give us the weather update. Kathy, I am just all good news as it relates to the weather. Beautiful days tomorrow. Like, tell us something good.
Yeah, we need something good, right? I mean, it's going to be pretty mild as we go into tomorrow morning. Temperatures will be about 10 degrees above average for this time of year. So typically we're in the 30s in the mornings. We'll be in the 40s. So that's going to feel good as well. So on your way out the door tomorrow, yes, you'll need a light jacket, but by the afternoon, you will not. Take a look outside because we have one more sleep until the Phil's home opener, the scoreboard, everything. Oh, am I having a problem? Oh, my hair is hitting my mic. Let's fix that. All right. We're looking at temperatures that are going to be mild during the overnight and into the day tomorrow. So as we look at the forecast for the game, first pitch at 4:15, of course, and temperatures are going to be in the 70s, a mix of sun and clouds, and then by the time the sun sets, it's still dry, although rain will be moving into the Poconos. We'll see temperatures falling in the 60s. So a great day and comfortable for the fans in the stands. Now, as we look at the forecast the next few hours, temperatures will be falling from 50 into the upper 40s with some cloud cover, but still a very pleasant overnight with low temperatures, as I mentioned, 10 degrees above normal. So instead of 37 in Philadelphia, it will be 47, and that's a really nice way to start the morning. So you walk out tomorrow morning, it's comfortable outside. It will get windy over the course of the day. Afternoon high temperatures in the 70s. The only place that it's really not going to be as mild, two places, the Poconos in the 60s and the shore, because look at those winds. They're coming from the southwest toward the northeast and crossing over the Delaware Bay toward South Jersey. So the shore is not going to be quite as warm. We'll hold on to the 60s and 50s there. That happens typically this time of year because the water takes much longer to warm up than the land. So Thursday's wind gusts, gusting in the morning to about 20 miles an hour. These are warm southerly breezes, and by the afternoon gusting to 25, even 30-mile-an-hour gust. So it will be a little bit gusty for the game, but once again, it will be a warmer wind. Highs for your Friday, upper 50s to around 60, and those temperatures falling fast in the wake of a front that will bring some rain. So let's time this out. As we go through the day tomorrow, we'll see sunshine through the day. You go down to Citizens Bank Park, or if you're going to be outside in the afternoon for the kids after school, it looks nice. The rain is holding off along the New York-Pennsylvania border and doesn't drop down into the Poconos-Lehigh Valley till about 8 o'clock, and then we really don't get it in Philadelphia in full force, some heavy rain until the overnight. And even during the morning hours, 7, 8, we could have some moderate rain for Friday morning to slow things down. And then most of this gets out of the way by the afternoon and pushes down towards South Jersey. So we'll keep an eye on that. In the meantime, the amount of rain, it's about a ½ inch. That American model is the GFS, the European model, saying the same thing, about a quarter to a ½ inch of rain, and we need it. March, April, that's when we typically get all the rain we need as we head into the summer season, when you just have spotty thunderstorms and not really a widespread uniform rain. So here's a look at our 7-day forecast from the Weather Authority. Thursday 76, Friday showers turning cooler, Saturday 40s, Sunday 50s, and by Monday we're back in the 60s. A few scattered showers are possible Monday. Tuesday a better chance of rain, and by Wednesday more like May with temperatures in the 70s. And Bill, I have to show you this 10-day trend. I'm sure Scott shared it with you, but Wednesday is April 1st and really turning a corner in the sense that Thursday 76, next Friday, a week from Friday, 67, and then yes, it gets cooler next Saturday, but it's not 40s, it's close to 60. So anytime you're going to cool down to 60, you are definitely going in the right direction, and that's as April begins. That will be the first weekend in April.
Kathy, I kind of thought your hair hitting the mic was like a soundtrack. It sounded like a beat, so we were okay with it. Right, exactly. Just own it. It's live streaming. Just own it and keep it going.
I'll try,
Bill.
Bill.
Good, especially when you're telling good news. It was like good news with a beat behind it. It's going to be warm. Right, it's good stuff.
I love it.
Thank you. We'll talk to you in just a little bit.
Okay.
It's the kind of weather we'd like to hear about, especially as we've got opening day tomorrow. I can see up on the monitors that the president is speaking right now at a fundraiser Going to get a little bit of information on this, dip in for just a little to see what he is talking about. Where is he? New River Community College. When the president is speaking, it may be one topic, but who knows if it will veer off into something else. So let's listen in.
For 10 months in a row, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States of America. Think of that. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We've also accomplished the largest reduction in illegal drugs in history, in the history of our country. Think of that. With the flow, deadly fentanyl across our border is down by 61%. Think of that, 61, not good enough, but I'll tell you what, it's down 98% coming in by water. Do you notice that? And we're trying to find out who the 2% are because we think they may be the bravest people on earth. They are brave people. Either that or they don't watch television. One or the other. I think it's that they don't watch television. Down 98% by water. We had a lot of it coming in by water. And now, if you watch closely, you'll watch that same treatment being given to land. Land being much easier than water. We did the water first. That forces them onto the land, and then we're going to do the land, and you'll be very happy about it. We've reduced drugs coming into this country by an astounding amount. Now the Democrats have shut down the Department of Homeland Security in an attempt to return to open borders where criminals come in from all over the world. From the Congo, they come. You know, the Congo opened its jails and released all of its prisoners into the United States of America through the totally open southern border, Sleepy Joe Biden border. The TSA agents have been hurt badly by the Democrats who made 3 different deals with us over the last short period of time, breaking the original one and then breaking the current ones because they don't want to settle. They want chaos. As I said, so there are great military triumphs against Iran can't be displayed on television because they're displaying airports. But I have to tell you, they did one thing that's been helpful. We decided to use our great patriots of ICE. These people are great. They have endured so much punishment, all because they want to get murderers, drug dealers, people who are totally mentally insane, many of the worst criminals in the world, get them out of our country. And in so doing, I sent ICE to the airports yesterday, and they have been so great. They have been so great. And you know what's happened? And they didn't need any rehabilitation, but they did in terms of the fake news. And they're doing such an unbelievable job at the airports that they had one line. It was 4 hours yesterday, and today was a half an hour. Big difference. And if we have to, we're going to send in the National Guard if we need to, because we only, we have 6,000 ICE agents, and we have 40,000 of the other people that they're helping out, some of who really were forced because the Democrats don't want to pay them. The Democrats don't want to pay them. You have to remember that. The radical left Democrats need to get DHS back and open immediately together. We're going to make with them, not the Democrats, because they've gone out of their way to make our country unsafe. And remember that, according to them, it's a war. They're doing this during a war. They're doing this during a war. We're not supposed to be doing it. But we're going to make America totally safe again very quickly. With the largest drop. We had the largest drop in violent crime in our country, despite all of these criminals that have been allowed in, murderers. Despite all, think of it, 11,888 murderers allowed into our country. Many of which, more than 50% killed more than one person. Thank you very much, Joe Biden. Thank you to Kamala, who was the border czar, who never went to the border and never made one phone call to Border Patrol. The Border Patrol is incredible. They've never had a phone call from her. 4 years. But they get phone calls from me every single day. How are we doing on the border? How are we doing on the border, Paul? How are we doing? How are we doing, Brendan, on the border? And we got it down to where people don't come anymore. It's obvious now. It's easy. They used to storm the fences. Now they don't come anymore because they know they're not getting in. But think of it, the murder rate, despite the fact that they allowed massive numbers of criminals into our country, is the lowest it's been in 125 years. 1900, before my father was born. Before my father, Fred, who was the greatest, my father was born after that. Think of that, though, 125 years, and we've achieved a miracle right here in our nation's capital where we have a safe city. You can walk to work. You can walk to Congress. You can walk to the Capitol. You can walk to the White House. When I came, this place was so dangerous. We were having 2 and 3 people killed every single week. Now you don't see it at all. We have actually, in a very short period of time, we've already done it, but in a very short period of time, we have one of the safe. Washington, D.C. is right now from one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in this country, is now one of the most safe cities anywhere in the country. We have done a great job. And that's not just by having great people from our military there, National Guard. It's because we removed 4,000 hardened criminals out of our city and out of their country. In some cases, they were so dangerous and so bad. They came from Biden. This guy that couldn't walk off a stage. See the stage? See how many stairs are here? All of it. He could never find the stairs. And people don't want that. People want a president that's able to walk off and find the stairs. Could never. Do you ever see that? Where he looks out, oh, I'm finished. First of all, his speeches were extremely short. They lasted a matter of seconds. And then he'd walk out. Look, I couldn't stand. He was probably a nice guy. I couldn't stand this guy. You ever see the weaponization? If we look at somebody, Donald Trump is weaponizing government. We've done just the opposite, unfortunately. Unfortunately. I hope they're looking at some of these criminals that cheated on the election. I hope they're looking at them. Because what they did to us and what they did is incredible. But I looked at Biden, and he weaponized like nobody's ever been weaponized before. Me, forget about me, so many people, Republicans, many of you in the audience, Congress people, many of my friends, you were taped and your phone was taken away, right, Scott? A lot of things happened that were very bad. They weaponized. But the fake news will say, oh, Donald Trump mentioned a dirty cop named Comey, and therefore he's weaponizing government. No, they weaponized, and we're not going to let them happen. And I think Comer and all these.
President Trump speaking at an annual fundraiser on any number of topics, and I would imagine he'll be speaking for quite some time, so we may dip in a little bit later on. There also is, if you can pull up the shot, but we won't turn up the sound yet, they're still on the floor of the Senate debating a bunch of different things. They're going through the SAFE Act. They're talking about funding Department of Homeland Security and many other things. So we will listen to that as well. But we show you that because it ties in with our next report from our Chelsea Torres, because they are trying to figure out how they're going to fund TSA, DHS, and this kind of stalemate that continues to exist with elected officials. And Chelsea, as that goes on, we just continue to see long lines.
Bill, Yeah, here the lines just continuously stay long. It'll slow down a little bit in the afternoon. It kind of has ebbed and flowed, but for the most part, I mean, people are waiting well at least over an hour before they get through the security checkpoint. Many people I talked to today, this morning, got in 6 hours before their flight. Although they were in good spirits, they said, you know, we really just want lawmakers on Capitol Hill to do their jobs, and that's kind of just all they're hoping for at this moment, Bill.
And so they're hoping that this will kind of, you know, adjust. They're hoping that there will be some solutions, but we don't really see them. And it sounds like what you're seeing is people are they at least patient? They at least recognize that these challenges are not created by those TSA workers?
Fortunately, yes. Actually, I was just speaking to a woman now who's working here at the airport, and she said, you know, you might get a few people that are kind of impatient, but she said for the most part, everyone has been very compassionate towards the airport staff, the TSA officers that are having to do their jobs. Mind you, all of the law enforcement that's also here at this time. And when we think about it, here at Bush Intercontinental, they only have 2 terminals open out of 5. And this one that I'm at right now, it's a international and domestic, so it's even more busy than it typically would be. And because so many TSA officers have actually called out here, well over 40% of their officers have called out, you're seeing just long lines. And this is kind of across the board at a lot of other major airports, such as in Philly, at JFK in New York, even New Orleans, they're seeing well over 35% of TSA officers calling out. So a lot of people here, they know what to expect. They know that it's been long lines. They've been hearing about the long hours, which is why many told me this morning, yeah, I got here 6 hours early just to be on the safe side. But they're really just hoping that, you know, by Friday, these lawmakers can actually come to a decision. So A, TSA officers can also get paid, but then B, people can get in and out of these lines a lot quicker than like they normally would.
And Chelsea, you were saying that kind of looming Friday deadline is because lawmakers are about to go more or less on vacation or break a session.
A 2-week Easter break, Bill. I mean, if you were to see these long lines, you would think that there's a lot of pressure right there on the Hill trying to get these lawmakers to come up with a decision. And really, when you hear from both sides of the aisle, it truly just has been them going back and forth, fighting with each other. And so you just almost wonder, what is it going to take for them to come up with a solution that will get officers paid, but then also get people in and out of the airports a lot quicker like they should be. I mean, even now, this is what the second partial shutdown, government shutdown in about 6 to 8 months, and just since this time around, from mid-February, 480 TSA officers have completely quit their jobs altogether. So the acting TSA administrator was talking to lawmakers today saying, listen, we need to fund this because what do we have coming up here that everybody's excited about is the World Cup. And so when you think about that, you know that for them, it takes about 4 to 6 months for people to be fully trained as a TSA officer. And if you're already losing that many people, it's going to become even more difficult as more people start to come in to the United States to see all of these games. So yeah, it's going to have a ripple effect if they don't come up with a solution here soon.
Chelsea, we have a chat room open on the Fox 29 TikTok page, and people are commenting on the lines behind you right now look to be moving fairly smoothly. So it's not that bad right now, or is it? So what we're seeing is pretty representative of what's going on right now?
Yeah, actually, even when I was here this morning and people got here about 6 hours early, I had talked to quite a few who had already been here for 2 to 3 hours, and I would talk to them while we're walking. So yes, you can see it. I mean, it's moving, it's going, but people are still waiting at least about an hour, at least, in these lines. But I have to say, people really have been, had good spirits. People don't seem as frustrated. I think some people that are first coming in, they might, you know, be a little weary of how long the line is, but it is at least moving at a steady pace. So there's at least that if you are having to come through this airport.
Chelsea Torres, thank you very much. Appreciate the update. Appreciate the fact that things are getting better, but I think part of it is people's expectations have kind of been moderated. So if you come to the airport expecting 4 hours and you only get 2, you feel like that's a win. Now we still have a problem to solve. But thank you, Chelsea, we appreciate it. Continuing on, we're going to take a break and then we will be right back. Again, they are discussing exactly what Chelsea was talking about on the Senate floor right now. So after a couple more reports and updates, we will take you to the Senate floor where the debate continues. Democrats saying it's the Republicans' fault, Republicans saying it's the Democrats' fault. Both have actually presented what they are calling funding bills that will solve the conflict, but apparently the conflicts exist in both sides' legislation such that the other side will not agree. So we remain at an impasse. Quick break and we'll be right back. Philadelphia Live on Fox Local. .822, it's Philadelphia Live on Fox Local. We, of course, are here on Fox Local, the Fox Local app, fox29.com, and all of our streaming social platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and you can follow me at Bill A. Fox29. Our question of the day today, would you pay somebody to wait in line for you these long lines? It is spirited. The discussion is going on my social media. So feel free to jump in. We would love to hear from you. We continue the discussion about what's going on in the economy, the impact that it's having on people. Our Liviana Calmes continues to follow the story. People have concerns trying to figure out perhaps alternate modes of transportation to Liviana because gas prices just keep going up.
They do, and families are really starting to feel the impact of it as it continues. And it's not just what people are paying at the pump, it's also what they're giving up to cover it. So gas prices now sitting just at under $4 a gallon nationwide, but here in Illinois it's even higher. It's actually $4.23, and drivers haven't seen prices this high since back in 2022. And studies show that most people are already feeling the impact. According to one survey, more than half of Americans say higher gas prices are affecting their finances. Stanford economists say it could add up to, get this, $740 more per household this year if prices stay high. One ministry in Northwest Indiana I spoke with is telling me that they're really seeing this around them play out in real time.
You take a single mother who's trying to provide for her kids. I mean, you have the cost of food has gone up. You have the cost of childcare has gone up. They're having to go to work, and now instead of spending $25 or $30 a week to just get back and forth to work and take care of their errands, they're spending upwards of $60 a week. That was unbudgeted for. It's unsaved for.
I love this. They're helping meet that need by giving out gas cards. They're trying to give some people just enough to keep moving. And I'll tell you, Bill, this impact is spreading. We just heard from the U.S. Postal Service today. They're going to be adding a temporary surcharge to some shipping services because of this and because of how much transportation costs. So we're seeing this really trickle down into a lot of different areas, Bill.
Well, and as we've talked throughout the day, this is happening and people want to budget, but they can't because, again, there is no timeline, there's no plan. Elected officials are actually continuing to debate this on the floor right now, but there's no real potential solution timeline.
Right, and I spoke to a Gas Buddy analyst the other day about this, and he says that's really the hardest thing is people can't plan for how long this will be. But there are some things you can do to try to find gas stations that are a little bit cheaper than others. He also said that on Sunday, statistically, that's the day where gas prices are just a bit lower, so you might be able to find a better deal. But yeah, definitely struggling, causing a lot of struggle for families across the nation, Bill.
Yana, thank you very much. We appreciate the updates, keeping us informed, and we will continue to check in with you throughout the week. Appreciate you. And we have a graphic right now from AAA. It is an interactive map that kind of shows you where gas prices are based on the area. So you can see what the national average is, and then you can see Pennsylvania right now, like $3.95-ish in Pennsylvania, and you move to different areas. Jersey, it's $3.88. Delaware, $3.83. But the challenge is, and then Maryland, $3.99, goes back up. The challenge is, even as you hunt around, like there have been periods of time where Jersey was significantly less than Pennsylvania. And that's not the case right now. It's 10 cents. And are you going to drive 10 cents? 10 cents, per gallon. If you've got a 15-gallon tank, like how far are you going to go to save $1.50 on your entire tank of gas? Now, if you happen to be in Jersey, then I guess that $1.50 might be worth it. Keeping in mind that it's a $5 toll between Philadelphia and New Jersey, so that probably doesn't make good economic sense. But that is the ongoing challenge. You have all of these things going on and no real solution in sight. And we mentioned multiple times that the elected officials are continuing to debate and discuss. They are on the floor of Senate continuing to discuss ways to potentially solve the issue of TSA, DHS, the conflict in Iran, what's going on with the gas prices, all of these things, the SAFE Act. It continues. So let's listen in to what the elected officials have to say.
The burden of war is borne by those who fight it. The young men and the young women who put themselves in harm's way because we sent them there. They're the ones who suffer the loss of life, devastation in their families, lifelong injuries, PTSD. But the true burden of war is borne by those who fight, not by those who decide. Is it not our responsibility, our minimal responsibility, to decide? We're not doing that. We're passively backing into a war with no debate, no discussion, no profound appreciation of what we are asking the young men and women of this country to subject themselves to. Mr. President, we owe them more than that. I yield back.
So they continue to debate all sorts of topics on the floor of the Senate. You can see that they're kind of mulling around there. And we wait just a second because what often happens is one will speak and then the next who is scheduled to come up because in the later hours of Senate, you have oftentimes these senators will go back and forth to their offices, conduct additional business, and then come back into the Senate floor to make their speeches and their comments. So it could be that, it could be that they're taking a break. Either way, we're going to take a break from that and get back to our discussion at hand, because we continue to follow what's going on with the trending topics, the things that people are following, the issues that people are discussing and debating. And Cam is ready, stepped up and ready for Cam's trending topics. Cam, what are the people searching? What are we looking for tonight?
Hey Bill, so if you guys are watching on the Fox Local app, you may have just received a just-in push alert. So a little bit of a breaking news story coming into the newsroom a couple of minutes ago, or maybe about 30 minutes ago. A 7-year-old teen who is autistic, he went missing last Friday, and the FBI just put out this notice that he has been found safe. They had multiple agencies on the case, and they were searching for him in Egg Harbor Township in the woods area. Temperatures were super low as 35 degrees. But in a turn of events, he has been found safe. And I know over the weekend, this was a big story trending on the website and around in our area. So we have those details on fox29.com. And again, you may have received what we call a push alert about 3 minutes ago. So tap on that and you'll have more details. Another story that I want to get to that's been trending on the web all day on fox29.com. Ding Dong Ditch in Bucks County, a community in Bucks County. Warrington Police has put out this notice basically telling their parents to warn their teens and their kids about the seriousness and the dangers that may come with doing Ding Dong Ditch or playing Ding Dong Ditch. And it's becoming more popular on social media. They are filming themselves doing this Ding Dong Ditch, and they think it's funny, but sometimes it's not funny for the residents that they are bothering. So the Warrington Police put out this notice, and it has been trending for a plethora of reasons on our social media and on the web.
Yeah, I feel like times have changed a little bit, and Ding Dong Ditch is potentially problematic. Like back in the day, the people who would, like on mischief night, you'd egg a house or put toilet paper up in the trees or what have you. I feel like nowadays with security cameras and the people concerned, and appropriately so, I think they're coming up on people's porches and knocking on doors and startling people. That's probably not a great idea in today's society.
Right, yeah, you don't want to knock on the wrong door either. It's definitely could be a nuisance, so putting out that warning in Bucks County.
Well, that's good work by them. And we can go to fox29.com to get additional information. Cam, did I ask you the question of the day on social media?
You didn't.
There is a person who has, with all these long lines at the airport, businesses have started to pop up, like with the concerts and what have you, where someone will wait in the security checkpoint line for you while you go do what you do. And then as it gets closer to the line, they will text you or call you so you can come and reclaim your space. Now, in some places, it's getting expensive. It's become a business, $100 an hour to sit there and wait in line. You seemed like you were all on board till you heard the cost.
Until I heard that price. $100 an hour is a bit much. I'd say no. We actually have my co-host for the Ladies Room, Sheba Russell. She has, spoken about her travel woes in the Atlanta airport. So tune into the Ladies Room to hear more about that. You'll be able to hear more on Friday night. But I would rather wait than pay that much amount of money for somebody else to wait for me.
I would too. Like, I have more patience than I do money, and so in that situation, I'm cheap. Now, if somebody wants someone to wait in line for them for $100 an hour, hit me up at Bill A Fox 29. Like, on all social platforms, I will sit there and wait in the spot for you. I'll text you when it gets closer to your flight. I got you. Little bottle of water for you. Come, Venmo me, and we'll keep it moving.
Pull up a lawn chair or a little rolling chair.
Listen, I'm good. I'm sitting here standing here for 3 hours a night having the conversation. I can stand in line. I'm good.
That's true. That's true.
Side hustle. All right, Cam. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Phil.
Appreciate it. All right, let's go. Are we ready? All right, let's go back to, we're going to go to our Chris O'Connell in just a minute, but let's go back to the Senate floor where they are continuing on with the discussion about funding issues, about the SAVE Act, about TSA, about the war in Iran. Let's listen in.
Because if we were angels, we would be naturally benevolent, kind, virtuous, and respectful of the law, respectful of order, respectful of each other. That's not to say that human beings are not that way. I believe that human beings are fundamentally, generally good. But not all human beings are that way, and no human being is that way all of the time. So getting back to Madison's point, if all human beings were angels, we wouldn't need a government because we wouldn't harm each other. We wouldn't physically injure each other. We wouldn't try to take other people's possessions, things that don't belong to us. We would live in harmony, and that is not the condition that we inhabit because, alas, we ourselves are not angels. So he said if men and women were angels, they wouldn't need government. He also said if we had access to angels to run our government, we wouldn't have a problem with government that would require us to subject government to rules. And that's where this document comes in. The document that was written 11 years after the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration of Independence, remember, in many respects sort of helped kick off the Revolutionary War. It was sort of already underway a little bit anyway, but it made it really official. But after the Declaration of Independence was put in place, it took years for us to win that war. By most accounts, 6 or 7 years. I believe it was about 7 years before it was deemed officially won. And we defeated the world's last standing superpower at the time. Now, this was a conflict as if between David and Goliath. Now, the original conflict between literally David and Goliath was not a conflict in which the smart money would have been on David. David was a small shepherd boy. David was no match for Goliath. Had the Vegas odds makers been in business then, there is no chance that they would have given David.
I'm going to jump in here just a little bit on Senator Lee's comment. He is using the story of David and Goliath as an example. I think that most of the people watching are probably familiar with the story of David and Goliath, so we can take a quick break there and then we will come back. Locally, tomorrow is opening day. Our Chris O'Connell getting us ready for it, checking out the local swag. What's the energy like among the fans? That's coming up in just a second. Philadelphia Live on Fox Local. We'll be right back. Philadelphia Live on Fox Local and all streaming platforms. Shout out to everyone who's in the chat rooms at Fox 29 on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube, at Bill A. Fox 29. Hit me up. I would love to hear from you. Give a follow if you're over there. We're taking a look at Citizens Bank Park. It is quiet there now, although it is all lit up and ready to go because tomorrow is opening day. It's supposed to be beautiful. There are hopes that the Phils can make a run to a World Series, Chris O'Connell. So you're out kind of checking the pulse and the energy of the public.
Yeah, the first two people, I should say, I ran into today were dressed in colonial gear on horseback right where I was standing right here. I said, guys, what are you guys doing? They had swords and everything. They had the wigs. How you doing? They are going to be delivering the first opening day ball tomorrow here on horseback at Citizens Bank Park to kick things off here on opening day. Bill, take a look. Man, ain't she gorgeous tonight? Citizens Bank Park. We're out here at the Michael Jack Schmidt statue. The red bell is up. It is all quiet tonight, but man, we are ready for opening day. It is a time for renewed optimism. The team is 0-0. It's been a long, cold winter, and tomorrow it's supposed to be spectacular weather, mid-70s. Perfect day for opening day. First pitch against the Texas Rangers at 4:15 tomorrow, but you want to get down here really early. I think the gates open at 1:35 or 1:45. You can get in here, but get your seats early. They're going to have the traditional walk through center field of the team to the dugout pregame. They're going to have the New Jersey Air National Guard with the flyover. They're going to have all kinds of events. It is going to be a party down here at Citizens Bank Park tomorrow. As we take a look inside, you see one of the new things I've seen in here. Look at that video board. There's a new video board greeting you here. It's like a vertical video board. Another thing you're going to look at is over here is the New Era team store, brand new, fully renovated. We got a sneak peek at it last night. They actually open at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. You see a couple guys here getting ready. The field is all lit right now, but it's like the night before Christmas, like Christmas Eve, Bill. A little bit of nervous energy, excitement in the air. Of course, we'll be down here covering it all tomorrow on Fox 29 and Fox Local, of course. Opening day, we're just hours away, Bill.
Chris, do you think the excitement is there? We were talking earlier about the fact that I think that so many people got caught up in how last season ended that they forgot that this was a team that won almost 100 games. Like, they're a really good team that struggled a little bit in the playoffs. So, are we back on the World Series wagon?
I think talking to people today, I think this team could be. I mean, this is a team they won the division last year. As a matter of fact, all fans going in tomorrow will get a pennant for last year's division-winning pennant. They'll get as a souvenir gift going in. But I think everyone knows that this team has a short window left, but the window is still open. They still have the talent. Whether that talent can deliver in October is the big question.
All right, we shall see. The excitement builds. Chris O'Connell, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. And last night, Chris was just showing you the newly renovated shop, the merch, the swag. Breland and Jason were actually down there last night where they had the preview of all the new things that are going on at the stadium, new food, new shop, a whole bunch of other things that were going on down there. So it's going to be exciting. And it's not just, baseball, honestly, is a really long season. Like, there are 81 home games. So they have to do a job, I think, of creating a whole environment. And I'll ask Breland, because actually Breland is up next, and she's down there a whole lot more than I am. So she has a better understanding of the energy But Breland, it feels like when you're playing 81 games that all of the things you're talking about, the renovations, the fan areas, the new stuff, that plays a big role as well, because you got to keep people interested over a really long season.
I don't know if necessarily that is the case. I think it's more just making it interactive and family friendly for everybody. I think no matter what, you know, the ballpark is a different atmosphere than an arena or a stadium, especially, you know, an Eagles game is a really high intensity atmosphere. Baseball, not like that. I mean, sometimes you'll get a really intense game, but for the most part, I don't want to call it a lackadaisical sport, but it's a little more relaxed instead of that high pressure energy. It's much more family friendly, and I think when you're out at a ballpark in the middle of the summertime, there's a lot of casual fans that show up, and they don't have to freeze in the middle of the link in December. They can just go in the middle of July and casually take in a baseball game. And so for those casual fans, yeah, absolutely. You got little kids as well, and so they've built new playgrounds and all sorts of things. And I think those types of interactive things that they have built are more catered to the casual fan that doesn't really care about the game per se and is more so interested in the atmosphere and the environment and just the fun outing of being at the Phillies game in the summertime.
It was cool. I mean, it was cool. You guys showed us yesterday some of the new stuff that they were doing, but you see that, and it kind of speaks to that. Like, you can come down there not necessarily being a diehard fan and still really enjoy the outing.
Yeah, and I think that's the point of having a summer sport, right? Is you can get those casual fans that you typically wouldn't get elsewhere. And to have those attractions that you can go do or see or eat at or what have you while the game is in progress, it's something different for those people who, like I said, aren't going to be locked into every single game of the year, but also just aren't locked in general and are just a casual fan wanting to take and soak in that atmosphere, because it is cool.
Okay, so we've made it through the off season. We made it through spring training. We are now, what are people saying? One more sleep before the season gets started. What are you thinking heading into the season? Expectations, your feelings? Is this going to be a good season that we should be excited for?
Yeah, I think the Phillies on paper are one of the best teams in baseball, but I think the division is going to be, and Jason and I talked a little bit about this on the Fantastic Sports Show earlier today, that the division is going to be a pretty good one, assuming that Atlanta can get and stay healthy for once, and the Mets perform to expectations instead of skidding out. This is going to be a really heated division. It's going to come down to the wire, in my opinion. And I kind of like that because last year it was a little boring there at the end of the regular season. You knew the Phils had everything locked up. And I'm sure as maybe a Philadelphia-only fan, that sat well with you. But for the people who actually genuinely enjoy the rush of competitive baseball, especially as you inch closer to October and to that postseason race, the NL East chase was a little boring. The Phils had it basically locked up for weeks at that point. So I do expect a little bit more competition, and I expect to see a 3-team race here in the NL East, and it should be a good one. So I'm very, very excited. But game 1 of 162 begins in, 18 hours or so, give or take.
Yeah. Let's do it. Excited about it. I was not going to mention this, but it just popped up in my notification. The Sixers are up by 30?
Yeah, well, I mean, they should be, considering they have everybody playing today for once. So yeah. Paul George finally back from his suspension, his 25-game suspension for violating the league's drug policy. And Joel Embiid started this game as well. So I think this was the team that everyone was hoping they would get, but apparently did not get for the majority of the seasons that they're here.
It's so crazy. Like you said this at the beginning of the season. They just tease you. Joel Embiid, we're not through the third quarter yet, and Joel Embiid has 31 points. Edgecombe has 22. Paul George has 15. Maxey's not even playing.
Right.
And yet, Joel will have 31 through 3, and then tomorrow there'll be some soreness, and we won't see him for 15 games. Like it's so frustrating what they could be versus what they end up being.
Bad news bears, man. Bad news bears.
It's crazy. All right, Breland, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We will see more on sports with Breland coming up, the Fox 29 News at 10. And tomorrow's opening day. It's going to be fun. So I'm sitting here looking at all of this. Again, it just popped up. Joel Embiid starts tonight. He's missed 15, I believe, straight games. Paul George was suspended for 25 games, comes back tonight. And not quite through 3 quarters. 2 minutes and change left in the third quarter. Joel Embiid has 31 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. And we're not through the third quarter yet. And this is somebody who has not played for 15 consecutive games. Paul George has 15 points, 5 steals. He hasn't played in 25 games. The rookie, VJ Edgecombe, who has been playing, has 22 points. Tyrese Maxey is not playing, and you can see that they're up, 32 right now as they're getting ready to go into the fourth quarter. And there, in a nutshell, are the challenges that we face with the Sixers, because this is what they could be if you can ever get healthy. And again, keep in mind, Tyrese Maxey, who I don't even think it's arguable anymore, is their best player right now, just because of availability, skills. I mean, Joel is obviously extremely talented. He's just not on the court. So Tyrese Maxey, your best player, is not playing, and you're up 30. And Joel, after sitting for 2 months, can come back and drop 30 on someone's head, after sitting. You're hearing the frustration of a longtime Sixers fan. What could have been? All right, getting back to the news. It's 8:52 here on Philadelphia Live on Fox Local, and the discussion continues. But we're going to go and listen to some of the discussion about Department of Homeland Security, the funding initiatives that they've been working on. How are you going to get this funded? Both sides have had a lot to say today. Let's listen in.
I now recognize gentlelady from New Jersey, Ms. McIver, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member. I want to truly begin by recognizing and thanking the dedicated people who protect our airways, ports, and waterways, critical cyber infrastructure, and support our emergency preparedness systems across this country, many of whom have been forced to work without pay, which has been discussed over and over today in this committee. You do not deserve this. If you are tuned in or in this chamber today, you deserve better. You already had to deal with a month and a half without pay last year because Republicans refused to support affordable health care. Now it's been over a month without pay again because once again, Republicans refuse to rein in ICE's cruelty. We're here, just to be clear, about ICE's cruelty that we've all had the opportunity, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, see play out in broad daylight in front of us all when they killed American citizens right before our eyes. This hits close to home for me because my district, New Jersey's 10th Congressional District, is home to one of the largest airports in the country, Newark Liberty Airport. I have heard personal stories of TSA workers having to skip meals or take their kids out of daycare. These are the real-world consequences of Republicans' agenda. On top of that, ICE is now stationed in Newark Liberty Airport, adding stress, fear, and government waste to an already chaotic situation. And on top of that, chilling and drinking coffee. Acting Administrator McNeil, you mentioned earlier in one of your testimonies that ICE was helping TSA agents operate the CAP machine, which basically, for those who do not know, validates IDs at TSA checkpoints. ICE does not have the specialized skills or training with that technology. Most of them only have 41 days of training that we heard in the last hearing of training to be an ICE agent. So let alone, they surely do not have training on this specialized technology. How are they helping operate this machine, this technology? How is that possible?
Congresswoman, we do have training for the operation of the travel document checker, and during the last 43-day shutdown, we also had to train additional employees to operate the TDC, including airport staff and others that volunteered to help us during that extended shutdown. And this
So
time
these
around,
ICE,
we're doing the same thing with
so
the
the ICE
agents.
folks who got here to the airport this week, you offered them training on the CAT machine already?
We have spent several days doing training on multiple different functions.
Several days. Today
non-screening
is
functions.
Wednesday. So when were they getting serval training? Was it this week or last week?
It was this week.
Okay, so they started getting training on Monday?
Correct.
And you talked about like your training and everything that goes into TSA, being a TSA agent that takes 6 months. You're telling me that you were able within 72 hours to train ICE agents how to operate the CAT technology system.
The travel document checker function is one of the non-specialized screening functions of TSA. And so where others can come in, we can train them to conduct this function while we focus our TSO workforce on some of the more highly skilled screening procedures, security screening procedures at the checkpoint.
Can you run through again what ICE is doing at these airports? Because at my airport, I've spoken to them. I had multiple calls with each of them, and basically ICE is standing in the lobby area, not operating these machines like you said. I don't know if this happened in every other airport, because only could speak to Newark Liberty Airport, but they're not doing anything other than being accompanied with a Port Authority police officer and standing in the lobby. So, I mean, what are they doing? Like, what's the list of duties that you are allowing ICE agents basically to do when it comes to TSA screenings?
Yeah, so they're helping us on several different functions, including queue management, helping us with exit lane staffing, divesting, giving passengers instructions on how to load up their bins and all of that, and then helping operate the travel document checker as well. And all of these require certain levels of training, and we've done that over the first few days of this week. And obviously, you know, when we roll out operations, it takes a while to really get folks, embedded into our operations, and it's gone extremely well. And our feedback from the passengers and our field leadership has been very positive.
Well, I wish I could say the same thing for Newark Liberty Airport. That's not the case there. Folks are really annoyed, just seeing them standing around because once again, I'm telling you critical information, factual information, that they're not doing any of that you just ran down at Newark Liberty Airport. So obviously there's some disconnect in what is going on and what is happening. I just want to point out, Chairman, I'm not sure what's wrong with the clock, but it definitely hasn't been 5 minutes. Not unless I'm just crazy. It's been a long hearing, but I'm down to 3 seconds, and that seems like that went really quickly. I will end with one thing. Acting Administrator McNeil, do you believe that, do you support a bill just to fund TSA at this moment in time?
I support the funding for the Department of Homeland Security, which includes TSA, but as I mentioned earlier, we don't function in a silo at the Department of Homeland Security.
I mean, your responsibility is TSA, though.
I am
so are you
part of the
representing
leadership team of
TSA
the
or
Department of
Homeland Security? Which one do you represent, Homeland Security or TSA?
We are one team, one mission at DHS.
Oh, that's unfortunate, and I hope TSA members are seeing this because your main function and responsibility should be of TSA and protecting them and making sure that they get paid. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back. Thank you.
Gentlelady yields back. I now recognize the gentlelady from South Carolina, Ms. Biggs, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Chairman Garbarino, for holding this hearing on the Democrat shutdown of DHS. And I would like to thank these witnesses for taking time out of their busy schedules to be here with us today. We appreciate the work that you do to keep our nation safe, even when the job is difficult. Over 260,000 Americans are going to work right now without a paycheck. I've been back and forth from South Carolina to Washington numerous times since this shutdown started. I've stood in those airport lines. I've talked to the TSA agents, and they are working, and they're working very hard. They're polite. They're doing their job. And frankly, I don't know how they're doing it because a lot of them are trying to raise a family, pay a mortgage, and keep up with their bills. We are seeing reports of TSA agents selling their own plasma just to put gas in their cars to drive to work. And it's appalling to me that we're sitting here today arguing about this. TSA workers have gone nearly half this fiscal year without pay. The lines are longer, the morale is gone, and people are quitting because they literally can't afford to stay in their jobs. But most disturbingly, Look at what happened at LaGuardia just 3 nights ago. We saw a deadly collision on a runway. 2 pilots lost their lives and dozens were injured. While we wait for the full investigation, we already know our aviation system is under unprecedented stress because of this stalemate. When you stop paying the people who keep our country safe, you are playing with fire. Meanwhile, nobody on this dais is missing a paycheck. Not one person here has missed a mortgage payment or skipped a meal. I voted twice and plan to do it again to reopen DHS. We need to get these people paid and stop putting the cost of your political games on the backs of working Americans. Admiral, in South Carolina's 3rd District, readiness is non-negotiable. My Made in America Defense Act, which was signed into law by President Trump, cut red tape for our upstate manufacturers who produce critical defense supplies. But while we work to move things faster, this DHS shutdown is creating a new bottleneck. Senate Democrats are playing political games and it's stalling our progress. Admiral, specifically, how is this instability degrading your ability to protect these critical defense supply chains right now?
Thank you for your question. Our defense industrial base is suffering right now. We need to rebuild it. Right now, what we are seeing is ships in our shipyards where stop work is going on because we cannot pay the bills. We are seeing crucial readiness that needs to be done in the repair of these ships, and the shipyard officers are not doing what our Coast Guard people are doing and working without a paycheck. They're asking us to leave those shipyards because we cannot pay the bills. So while we're allowed to contract, we can't pay the bills. And in many cases, shipyards and industrial-based leaders, that's 25% of their total income. So trying to get to them to help them with cash flow, we're not doing it. What we worry about is that's not only a near-term impact, but as we bid for these contracts with these companies in the future, they're not going to come to the Coast Guard. They'll go to the Navy, they'll go to the Marines, they'll go to the others receiving a budget.
Thank you so much, and thank you again.
So those are some of the comments that happened a little bit earlier. DHS funding hearing. It honestly, folks, is more of the same. If there are Democrats talking, then it's the Republicans' fault. If it's Republicans talking, then it's the Democrats' fault. Both are saying that they have presented bills that will fund TSA, but there are differences in opinion as to whether or not that funding should fund all of Homeland Security, which of course includes ICE immigration officers, or it should just fund getting TSA workers back to work. And that is a division along party lines. Continuing on with the discussion and the news, we head into the 9 o'clock hour. Our Jen Lee has stepped up to the camera and ready to talk to us about some ways to keep the bus stops a little safer, perhaps have some cameras that are there handling that. Jen, what do you got? Good evening.
Yes. Hello, good evening. So we stopped by Middletown Township earlier today and we had a chance to speak with the police chief as well as the community relations officer who is overseeing their new bus patrol program. And we're talking about school buses. So this is the first school year starting in September where the school buses have cameras on the buses to capture drivers in violation of passing through school buses, just whizzing past when they're stopped, illuminated. You can see the stop signs pull out. This is a video compilation that they had just uploaded. A lot of the videos were posted from February as well as March. But the community relations officer who posted this video said, number one, their goal is to raise awareness, to educate, and also serve as a deterrence with this new program. She and the chief both said that their goal would ultimately to be giving out 0 violations. But unfortunately, since they started the program, they've been handing out hundreds of violations per month. And this community relations officer also did provide a daily average. to show that it seems to be working, this program, because she said starting in September for a few months, it was about 12 violations per day. And then once it became January, February, she said that went down to about 8. And it has even since dropped down to about 7 now in March. So they're liking the trend of violations going down that they're seeing. But in some cases, the violations are just so egregious. So what happens is this camera will capture the violations. It gets reviewed by an employee, a civilian employee, and then it will get passed off to a police officer of the department, because ultimately a police officer has to review the violation, approve it, and that's when a person, a driver, will receive that ticket in the mail. So each violation is a civil violation, so it's $300, no points on your license as a result. So it's really serving as a warning, according to the police department. But again, going back to those most egregious drivers, they're saying the drivers who totally ignore the stop sign and will actually drive between a school bus and children crossing, the police will actually go that further step, because if a car is pulled over by a police officer in person, they will get a state violation, which carries points, is about double in fines from the 300. And you also have to go to a suspension hearing, so you have to show up to court. But they're really hoping that by raising awareness and by showing that, these drivers, you're getting captured, you're being put on blast on social media, that the number of violations will go down, because safety of the police department calls them our most precious cargo on these school buses, the students, is what's most important here.
And we were sitting there while you're talking, the video has been playing. Some of that's egregious. Like I think that the campaign to make sure people are aware of the laws, because some of it, like some of them you could see people kind of creeping by who seemed like they were aware of it, but the bus has been stopped for a while. I don't see any kids. I'm going to creep by. Others, largely on the other side of the street, looks like they're just not even aware that they're supposed to stop, because they don't even stutter. They're just blowing by on the other side of the street. So hopefully this awareness campaign is helpful.
Yes, and I totally agree, because it seems like some drivers genuinely, maybe they have no idea that they're in the wrong here. But other people, even in our newsroom, have brought up the good point that you can't really pass your driver's test without knowing that you're not supposed to go past a stopped school bus with the lights illuminated, even when you're on the opposite lane. But again, the video, like you mentioned, does also try to educate. So if you're in opposite lanes of traffic, if there's a concrete barrier, you are okay to pass. But if there's no concrete barrier, even if it's like a grass padding that's between you and the opposite side of traffic with the stopped school bus, you still need to stop.
Yeah, well, I also think that they've made it so much easier on people, because I remember back in the day, back when I was coming up, back in the day, you just had to know. Now the buses have literal stop signs that come out and will light up. There's red lights all over the place. So yeah, I mean, this is something that people need to be aware of, and you got to keep kids safe. In defense of people who took their driver's test, there are some of us, Jen, who haven't been 16 in a really long time. So we haven't had to freshen up the rules of the road in a really long time. So appreciate the information.
Yeah, and a lot of the parents we spoke with tonight, obviously, they say this is horrible, ridiculous that people are doing this. But even thinking about it from like a financial point of view, $300 out of pocket for not stopping it, it probably would have taken 30 seconds to a minute. I mean, it's worth stopping for, if not for the kids' safety, of course, being number one.
Yeah, I mean, it's really dangerous. Like, this is something that they need to take the time making sure people know, and you got to keep the kids safe, because the young kids get off the bus expecting people to stop, so they go ahead and cross the street. Like, it's really dangerous, so it's a solid initiative. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. But if you looked at the video, there were some people who it seemed pretty obvious had no idea that they were even breaking the law. Like, they didn't even stutter step. Cars were on the other side of the road. So yeah, it can be problematic. Let's take a quick break, and then we will come back, find out what's going on with the trending topics. Again, What are people searching for? What are the stories that are dominating Fox29.com as well as all of our social media platforms? We've got that for you. Just give us 2 minutes. We'll be right back. .912 Philadelphia Live on Fox Local. Checking the score of our Sixers during the break. This is unbelievable. And we were trying to figure out, for sports fans out there who are watching, this is, again, and we will talk to Breland or Marcus or whoever from the sports department comes out and speaks to us in about 15, 20 minutes. How can you have, so Joel Embiid sat out 15 games, apparently too injured to play in any of the previous 15 games, comes back tonight, plays 30 minutes, has 35 points, apparently an amazing game, and they're beating a legitimate team, not a good team, but they're beating a legitimate team by 34 points. Paul George has been sitting out for 25 games, suspended for violating the performance-enhancing drugs rule in the NBA. 25 games. He comes back, gives you 30 minutes and 30 points. Unbelievable. And this is the level of frustration. This is why the Sixers continue to suck real fans back in, lifetime Sixers fans, because just when you're out, they drag you back in. Because you sit back and see a game like tonight and the players like tonight and feel like this team can play with anybody, because if they're healthy, and again, they do not have all-star Tyrese Maxey, who is in fact still injured. They also don't have Kelly Oubre. So they're doing this to a professional team with 2 of their starting 5 still not in the lineup. And yet, who will be injured this time tomorrow? I'm sorry, do I sound cynical? Is that bad? The whole room's going, come on, Bill, give him a break. I'm a lifetime Sixers fan. I've had my heart broken multiple times. I feel like the dysfunctional relationship. You told me you wouldn't do this to me again. All right, just give me one more chance. Anyway, what's trending? What's going on the web? Fox29.com, all our social media platforms. Cam is back with the trending topics. Cam, I can't let the Sixers hurt me again.
Understandable, Bill. And it's actually interesting. I was looking to see what was trending nationally right now. It goes sports, so the Sixers is up there, and then that social media addiction trial, the new COVID variant, And then Harry Potter. I was like, why is Harry Potter trending? Well, HBO Max, they just released the official trailer for the Harry Potter TV series. So they're reimagining J.K. Rowling's 7-book fantasy series, and they are starting season 1 off with Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. And that is how the book was originally released overseas. But here in the US, we know it as the Sorcerer's Stone. So if there's any confusion there at home, that's why it's the Philosopher's Stone. And, you know, a lot of Harry Potter fans are super excited about this. Some Harry Potter fans are not excited. They just want the original movie adaptations to just live on as is. But, you know, we always have to redo something in the entertainment industry, and this is just one of those other, you know, adaptations for TV now. So this will be on HBO exclusively around Christmas, and then it will be streaming on HBO Max afterwards.
I feel like you kind of have to do this, right? Like you can't, because they're going back to when they were kids and they were students, because if not, the Harry Potter thing is done. Harry's like 40 now with kids, and like, you can't keep going back to child Harry, you know, and he's all the way grown up.
Yeah. That ship has sailed, so they will have to just redo it all over again. But we already know the story. If you read the books, it's going to be very similar. Maybe there'll be some differences. They are reimagining those that book series, so maybe there'll be something new, something fresh, or a new take on it in some aspect, but it is going to bring back a lot of nostalgia for those Harry Potter fans.
Yeah, I feel like the people who love Harry Potter will love this.
I think so, too.
And jump in and be all on board.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got?
That's all we got. Yep.
You done with me?
Yes. I gotta go publish a couple of web stories and make sure everything's up to date for our 10 o'clock news.
I got it. We're getting close. So Cam, I appreciate it. I was all out on Harry Potter, and then a friend forced me to watch it years ago. And then I was like, okay, this is interesting.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
Like it's not destination viewing for me. Like I wouldn't put on the calendar that I have to go watch the new Harry Potter series, but it's entertaining, you know, when you're sitting there watching it.
And when I think about it, you can't like binge watch the movies, but you could probably binge watch the TV series. So that'll be the difference there.
It's a lot. People buying wands and whatnot, and they got like what are they, schools or teams or houses or something like that?
Yes.
Like which house are you a part of? And there's
for
like
sure Gryffindor.
Personality traits associated with the houses. They got
we should take that test.
Butterbeer and all kinds of crazy stuff that's going on because of Harry Potter. Good stuff. All right, we'll take the test one day on the show.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Thanks, Cam. But that will not be my test. That will be Judea who is taking the test. You gonna do the Harry Potter test on your show? You didn't watch any of the Harry Potter? Where's the mic? Where's the other mic? Don't hand the mic to me. I already have a mic. Like the whole process that has been going on. So we introduced you to Judea yesterday because at the end of this week, this becomes your show. Mm-hmm. And you will be hosting this show and doing all these kind of questions and stuff. So are you a Harry Potter person?
No. Well, okay, so I'm actually not even sure if this is on.
Is this on, Carly? The microphone?
Thank you.
They're like, Bill, what are you doing? You didn't tell us you were going to be doing interviews and whatnot. This is your show. You get to make the rules.
So, no, I didn't grow up watching Harry Potter. I have seen...
She just really made me old, didn't she? Like, I didn't grow up watching Harry Potter.
That's a whole story in and of itself.
Go
on. So I couldn't watch Harry Potter. Let me specify. But as an adult, I have watched, I think, 2 movies now.
Okay.
Would I take the test? I'm not. If you guys want me to take the test, I'll take the test.
Take the test.
Okay.
You and Jake will take the test. Figure out which house you're in. People like buy the sweaters and whatnot.
They do, and then they play Quidditch.
That's when you're flying around on a broom, right? Okay.
I don't know what they're catching though.
They have Quidditch tournaments, like in real life.
How do you do that?
I don't know, because people can't fly.
No.
And so they're running around with the broom and pretending to be Harry Potter.
I need to see it.
It's crazy.
Otherwise, it doesn't exist.
It's crazy. Like, it's a little bit ridiculous. All right, so you will be doing that. Are you going to do like social media questions and things? This time next week, this will be This will be you and Jake holding it down.
Yeah, so I normally ask questions on my stories. I don't
Okay.
post them to my page, but I've seen how you do it and how people like really get into answering these questions. You have some really good ones too.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, I might adopt it, excuse me.
Okay. So you excited to get into this?
Very much so. Monday, you guys.
You ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. Would you pay somebody, our social media question of the day, would you
Ooh.
pay somebody to wait in those long, drawn out TSA lines for you?
You guys couldn't see me, but I was giving him all the crazy looks from the side when he was talking about it.
$100 an hour?
No, I'm not doing that. I respect the hustle, I do, but no, I'm not paying that much for somebody. I actually don't even understand how it works. I've been at the airport and I see how they're telling people, you know, you can't cut the line. I understand somebody standing in line for you, but I just imagine security would not be going for that.
Well, so I think the way it works, because now it's all wrapped around. If it's a 5-hour
Yes.
line,
Mhm.
it's all the way down the hall and zigzag
some
back around, sometimes
outside.
out into the parking lot.
Mhm.
So somebody could wait in that line. You just can't, like, once you get into the 5 minutes out, when you're in the actual turnstile,
Okay.
then you would have to get your own spot.
Okay.
But when you're all around the airport in 2 hours, somebody can wait in line for
That's
you.
valid. And then I think about this. So the only way I can understand this really working is if somebody came while I was still at home, but they don't have my
Right.
suitcase and stuff like that. It's just,
They
yeah,
could. You can give it to them. Come scoop by.
I don't trust that.
Give you my bag. Go hang out at the airport.
I'm
for me.
skeptical.
Yeah, I mean I'm cheap. so you're out.
I'm out.
Is it
I'm
the
out.
cost or you just don't trust people?
Well, yes, this is out of my tax bracket. $100 an hour. I can't do it.
She's still learning the rules, folks. So she's sitting there giving me the side eye, like, I work the same place you work. You're not paying $100 an hour for somebody else to be waiting in line. I already told them earlier, you could pay me $100 an hour,
And that was smart.
and I will wait in line for you.
That was smart.
I got
I'm not even paying the baggage fees, so I can't imagine.
Don't even get me started. I'm going away next week, hopefully, to get somebody
Good
to wait in
luck.
line for me. So we'll see. All right, Monday, you will see Judea here 7 to 10 on Fox Local and all streaming platforms. Also with us for the rest of the week, kind of here, soaking it all in before she takes the baton and runs with it.
All right.
All right, good stuff. We got to learn more about you. Were you an athlete? All that kind of stuff back in the day, when she was coming up. All right, next up, I see Kathy Orr is there and ready to go. Kathy, you, Judea, Breland, the whole team will be holding it down starting next week.
I know, and you're not going to be here.
I am not going to be here. Listen, I'll still be here though. So I'm generally, like, I won't be here at 7, but I will be here right as you guys are getting ready to get started. Because I'm normally here till 6:30 anyway.
Yeah, you usually say goodbye during the 6 o'clock news.
Yes.
That's when you usually slip out.
Say my goodbyes.
But you know, Judea and I were talking in the cafeteria, or as I like to call it, the vendateria, because there's all vending machines in our cafeteria.
Okay, yeah, I know, right.
And she and I are both from upstate New York, so we have a lot in common.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. Maybe you guys could bring her on the ladies' room and introduce people to her as well.
That's a great idea. That is so,
There you
you know,
go.
you are so smart.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to go home, Kathy. And then we can sit there.
I'm just-
It's like, maybe you guys should do the last half an hour of the show and just
Yeah.
get to know each other.
Yeah, we'll just do that. No, you want to be here, Bill.
All good
You want to
things.
be here, William.
I'm actually having fun. It's going to hurt my feelings to give up this show.
I know.
I'll
know.
do it, but it's going to hurt my feelings.
Oh, well, we'll miss you. But we're so
All right.
happy that Judea is here for sure.
Absolutely. We are happy to have her. Kathy, beautiful days ahead.
Yeah, I mean, tonight's not so bad. I have my tea because it's just one of those nights. And you know, I wanted to share with you, there's something new for hurricane season. Hurricane season is 68 days away. And of course, in the Philadelphia area, South Jersey, Delaware, we have to pay attention to it because we get remnants of hurricanes often. And you never know when we could see more of a direct hit. But this is new from the National Hurricane Center. They want everyone to know when they put out the cone of uncertainty or the storm track, there's something different this year. And Bill, this is class participation. Do you see anything different about that track? There's the cone of uncertainty. You can see the M for a major hurricane and S for a tropical storm. That's all the same, but there's something different about this map that is coming to a forecast near you this summer season. Can you see what it is?
need Carly to pull up my camera so that people can see how hard I'm looking to try to look at this, because there's about a 13-inch monitor about 10 feet away from me.
It's not hard to see.
I don't see it.
It's not microscopic.
Okay.
Okay, so let's put up the map instead of me, if we can do that, Carly. And
All right.
we'll watch our friend. Oh, wow, look at this, triple box. Okay, so there's something different about this map. Can you see it? It's the track is just like the track has been. The cone of uncertainty of where it could go is still exactly the same, but there's something different. I'll give you one more second. Do you give?
No, I don't know.
You give up?
But in fairness, I failed that class. Chris said it's going south.
No, it's the watches and warnings. They're over the whole state of Florida. So you're not just going to see like a little warning line along the coast. You're going to see it all colored in. So if a storm's heading for Florida, you're going to see all those watches and warnings. See the red, see the lines, see the yellow. The code is on the bottom. They all mean something different, because what's happening is, and what's happened in the past, is people in the path of a storm just think, oh, it's going to hit the coast. But there's significance as it crosses the entire peninsula of Florida, or if it makes landfall in the mid-Atlantic. It's not just the coast. It's everything that happens when it moves ashore. So if a storm comes close to us, we will see the same thing. You'll see the track of the storm, and then you'll see all the watches and warnings associated with it. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, Kathy. I'm listening to Chris in here trying to come up with some sort of way to make his answer right. He was like, well, Kathy said it is kind of turning south, so that's pretty much what I meant.
No, that's not it, Chris.
No, he was just wrong. At least I can admit I was wrong.
It's okay. It's okay. It's a tough question. But anyway, you'll see that, and we'll be talking more about it in 68 days when hurricane season begins. But in the meantime, we have to talk about our weather. That's going to be nice tonight. I mean, it's pretty much partly cloudy tonight. Temperatures will be in the 50s tomorrow. You'll need that jacket, that nice little overcoat you have on right now, Bill. I know it's a fashion statement. And by tomorrow afternoon, you're not going to need it. It's going to be more like t-shirt weather. You can see over the next few hours, temperatures falling through the 40s and overnight lows in the 40s. We should be in the 30s. Tomorrow afternoon, well into the 70s, except on the shore where that breeze is going to come off the bay and off the ocean. Ocean water temperature is still in the 40s, guys, so no rush to go into the water, that's for sure. And winds tomorrow afternoon gusting 25 plus miles an hour for the game, but first pitch is 4:15 for the Phils, and it's going to be a nice day. Then by Friday, temperatures fall. It's a rainy morning. That rain could linger into the afternoon, but at least tomorrow you have dry conditions, sunshine, warming in the 70s. Heading off to the game at 4 o'clock. That's the first pitch, no issues. And then it's really late at night. We could see some rain moving into Philadelphia, especially during the overnight Friday and as we go through the morning commute on Friday. And then colder air coming in for the weekend. Saturday's high temperatures are only going to be in the 40s. So rainfall amounts for your Friday morning, 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, according to our computer models. And temperatures that will be quite warm tomorrow. Showers and turning colder on Friday, 45 Saturday. That's just painful. And then temperatures warming back up. 50s Sunday, 60s Monday, a few showers, more showers possible Tuesday afternoon. And then Wednesday, we're back up into the 70s. So you can see we're dipping down the 40s, but that's going to become more few and far between. The average last frost in the Philadelphia area is about April 15th. So we have a little ways to go.
I'll take it. Listen, I can take one 45-degree day, and then we head in the right direction. It's all good.
It's all good.
Just throw on a jacket for Saturday and keep it moving.
That's right. Yeah, get the winter coat back out for one day.
There we go. Kathy's excited about opening day. You're going to be
wait.
there enjoying it.
I can't wait. Yeah, my son's home from school, so we're going to the game. It'll be fun.
Nice. All right, Kathy, thank you very much.
You bet.
All right, and you will see more from Kathy breaking down the weather for you coming up, the Fox 29 News at 10. So everybody who is watching on the stream on Fox Local and all streaming platforms, also make sure you stay tuned when we wrap up at 10 o'clock, because it all continues, as I told you, live 24 hours a day here on Fox Local, also including all of our live shows from Fox 29. No reason for you to go anywhere else but here. Let's take a quick break, and then we will continue on. What's going on? Let's get a little analysis on what happened with the Sixers frustration. Also, some of the comments from hearings about ICE, about citizenship, about the conflict in Iran, about TSA and DHS and the economy. We've got it all for you. About half an hour left in the show, so stay tuned. .32 here, Philadelphia Live on Fox Local and all streaming platforms. Taking a look down at the Xfinity Mobile Arena, where your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Sixers pretty much slapped around the Chicago Bulls tonight as Joel Embiid made his return to the court. Paul George made his return to the court. My frustrations made their return as well, Marcus.
Say it loud, Bill. Keep going, keep going.
Listen, clap your hands, everybody, for the Philadelphia.
See?
76ers.
We're back. We back. Hashtag we
10, 9, 8, 76ers. I know, right.
The greatest
We're
defensive, the greatest defensive performance by both teams. I mean, 157 to 137. Joel, Edgecombe, PG, totaling 85 yards combined, or 85 points combined. It was just pure defensive magic. It was amazing, Bill.
157 points they put up. Joel Embiid was too injured to play for 15 straight games, came back and put 35
points
on their head. Paul George has been sitting out with the substance abuse allegations or the performance-enhancing drug suspension, comes back, puts 30 on him.
Six threes.
Like this, it's crazy because we should be sitting back going, okay, good job, Sixers, but it's frustrating because you see what they could be.
I mean, this is clearly proof that when everyone's healthy and everyone gets their mind right, they can easily make a run in the playoffs. I mean, they obviously have some things to work on, and I know I joke about a lot of it, but I mean, like, this team actually has got a lot of talent. Now, they beat up a very bad Bulls team. Let's call it a spade here. The Bulls weren't that good. They're playing Charlotte on Saturday. They're not that good, so don't be surprised if the Sixers blow them out as well. But I mean, like, this team's got the potential to do something. It's just, again, if everyone's, on the same page and nobody's doing anything stupid, pretty much.
That's a huge if. And to put it in context, we talk about how bad Charlotte is. Going into tonight's game, Charlotte was tied with the Sixers in terms of playoff position. They were like a game behind them. So this game actually means something, the game with Charlotte, because they're playing for playoff position. They could be anywhere from 5th to out of the playoffs with 2 games separating them.
Yeah, and I mean, like, every game counts, obviously, so this one will be a huge one. It's weird because I'm always usually just happy with just playing, just because it's not part of the playoffs, but kind of is. So like at least like they still have a shot. But I mean, at this point, I'm just like, just make the top 6. I'd rather have a series than go like day by day and not know like who the next opponent is. I'd rather just go through a whole series. So I think this team has a chance to maybe not like reach the 5th spot, but if they can at least get the top 6, I think they can do it. Or I think they can. I think it'll be pretty interesting.
Marcus, were y'all having a party out in the newsroom or something?
It's rocking. I mean, a lot of people are having fun. I mean, we're hard at work. I mean, our newscast starts in 25 minutes, Bill, and you're distracting us while we're trying to, make Emmy-winning television. So, any mistakes that happen, this is on you. Just so you know.
Sorry, my bad. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. But we will leave it with your excitement level for opening day tomorrow.
I mean, I'm pumped. I mean, it's going to be a long season, but it's going to be a great season when it comes to the Phillies. I mean, they got a great chance at three-peating, something that they haven't been able to do since the World Series days back in the late 2000s. So this is going to be fun to watch. I mean, they've got great pitching, they've got young pitching, they've got great offensive bats, they have young offensive bats. Like, it's just a little bit of like the young and the old kind of, and except not really that old when it comes to like a good mix. And I mean, just in baseball in general, I mean, I'm watching, I mean, the season officially is starting tonight between the Yankees and the Giants, which the Yankees are currently winning. So it's just the overall great feeling of just baseball being back. Like, I'm excited now. Tomorrow, I'm going to be pumped because it's not just, baseball's back, but Phillies baseball is back. So it's going to be a fun time at the ballpark tomorrow.
All right, I'm going to let you guys get back to the high-energy planning meetings and research that's taking place out there in the
Emmy-winning work by all guys all around here. So
I appreciate the sacrifice
pumped.
and struggle. The struggle is real. You're doing what you got to do.
We are the ones struggling while you're, in a dark box, just, standing there for 3 hours. We're working hard. So I appreciate your honesty and your humbleness.
Yeah, goodbye, Marcus. Always a pleasure. We appreciate it. And they are getting ready for the Fox 29 News at 10. Marcus helping getting sports ready. And there's a lot to talk about. Opening day, the Sixers, what's going on, a lot. So make sure you stay with us. All right, we're going to continue on. So we started off earlier talking about all of the challenges that were taking place on the Senate floor. They actually, if you go live, take a live look without listening in, they are still on the Senate floor. Actually, that's still Senator Lee. Who's been talking since about 9, talking about the SAFE Act and funding and DHS, and TSA. So it is going well into the night as they continue to try to reach some sort of compromise about how to get things funded. There was a pretty spirited hearing that took place earlier today, a Senate committee hearing on citizenship and sanctuary cities, talking about the different responsibilities that they are trying to put in place, the tests of citizenship, the registration issues as it relates to citizens, what should your status be in the country, and it got a little spirited. So let's listen in. It was Senator Cruz and others talking about citizenship and sanctuary cities.
Last week, 18-year-old college freshman Sheridan Gorman went to the shores of Lake Michigan to look up at the sky, to catch a glimpse of the northern lights. She went searching for light, and instead she was met with death. As she walked with friends along Chicago's lakefront, Sheridan was shot in the back by a masked coward dressed in black. Her killer, an illegal alien who entered the United States and remained here to commit murder, shielded by Chicago's failed sanctuary city policies. Ms. Vaughn, is it correct that Sheridan's killer had been picked up twice by law enforcement, but was released both times?
That is my understanding from the news accounts.
Is it also correct that he was picked up by Joe Biden's Border Patrol in 2023, but then released to roam freely within the United States?
Yes.
Is it also correct that Chicago police officers arrested him for shoplifting at Macy's in 2023, but then released him on the ridiculous assumption that he would return for his court date?
Yes, according to reports.
Sheridan's killer has been hiding in Chicago, a city that gleefully has become a sanctuary for illegal aliens, criminal shoplifters, and now cold-blooded murderers for nearly 3 years. Just today, the mayor of Chicago debuted a garbage truck with the large words in all caps, "Abolish ICE." Ms. Vaughn, do sanctuary policies make American communities safer, or do they enable illegal alien criminals?
They only protect criminal aliens. They do not make our cities safer.
It is the fundamental duty of government to protect its citizens. And yet this tragic scenario is repeating itself in sanctuary jurisdictions again and again and again. Mr. Abraham, thank you in particular for being here today.
Thank you.
I want to extend my deepest condolences.
I appreciate it. I also appreciate Ranking Member Welsh and Mr. Padilla for recognizing that. What I don't understand is why my senator of Illinois, Mr. Durbin, haven't heard two words from him toward me. But sorry, I want to take your time. Kind of amazing.
I think it is a fair question to ask.
Kind of happy he's calling it quits.
To the extent you feel comfortable sharing, can you tell us about Katie?
Katie was great. She had this amazing personality. She was sharp as a tack. Her wit was unbelievable. She was going to be, wherever she was going to go was going to be amazing. She had a great sense of reading rooms, how to behave herself in those situations ever since she was little. She was a terrific athlete, water polo, swam, had so many different friend groups, always was, just an amazing support for other friends and family. So to me, this world in Illinois is a worse place now without her.
I'm the father of 2 teenage daughters.
Don't even think about that. Don't even do it. It's awful.
Can only imagine.
Yeah, don't even.
The pain and grief that you will suffer your entire life.
I'm in the grave with her. It's amazing. I can't put it in words.
She was 20 years old
Yep,
when she was killed by an illegal alien drunk driver.
that's right.
Just this week, there's a clip of Democrat Senator Chris Murphy on TV being interviewed. And he says, the people that we care about most, and he's speaking about Senate Democrats, are illegal aliens. There's an old line that a gaffe is when a politician tells the truth. Mr. Abraham, how does it feel listening to an elected representative say quite proudly that the people he cares most about, and he was speaking for every Democrat senator, he was saying the people we care most about are illegal immigrants. How does that feel?
Look, that's an indictment on him, I got to say. I'm not sure where citizens fit in all of this, but I at least my experience over the last 14 months is we don't sit at the top. We are not. Our stories are inconvenient, and therefore they're erased and ignored. So does it surprise me? No, it doesn't surprise me at all. I should be, but in today's world, that doesn't surprise me at all. And really, just an unserious thing to say, and I'm not sure why anyone in his state would pay attention to that.
The only thing I would respectfully disagree with is the word unserious, because I actually think he was deadly serious. I think he was telling the truth.
Yeah.
And every Democrat had the chance to dispute it at the State of the Union address when President Trump turned to the entire Democrat and said, stand if you agree with this, that it is our duty to protect American citizens and not illegal aliens. And every Democrat in the Senate, every Democrat in the House sat stone-faced. And they told the American people, we agree with Chris Murphy. The people we love the most are the illegal immigrants. You know, the paper where Sheridan Gorman, the school paper, this week apologized to her murderer because the first story correctly described him as an illegal immigrant. What the hell is wrong with these people? I'm sorry, Mr. Abraham.
Yeah, they talk about compassion. I haven't seen any yet. So it's disgusting in a way. We should not be left alone on an island because we don't fit a certain ideology. I am so sorry that certain folks only live by their ideology, their North Star, and that is a bad life to live. I think they're missing out on so many other things. Meanwhile, my daughter's taken away. I'll never see her again. I haven't seen her, heard her laugh, hear her talk, haven't grabbed her, hold her. 14 months now. Does anyone consider that? I mean, Sheriff, do you even, I can't believe what I'm hearing on some of this stuff today. But, I'm not some politician or bureaucrat. I'm a dad who had his head down, worked his tail off for his kids, thinking foolishly she was safe in some city. I know Illinois is corrupt and it's always been awful. They always had guardrails. The old school guys did. And then I hear some of the stuff here. I'm sorry. It's awful.
You have nothing to apologize for. And what happened to your daughter never should have happened to her and never should have happened to your family. God bless you, sir.
It was preventable. I think what everyone's missing here is that was preventable. That did not have to happen. He was identified. They knew who he was. He was pulled over by local police. Bang up job on that one. Let go to do this. And now we're okay. Governor Pritzker will say, oh, look, you got justice. We found him. If crime happens, you're good to go. We got him, and he's incarcerated now. And my point there is,
your daughter should still be alive.
My daughter's in a grave. She'll never see the light of day. Will he? Yes. But what did you do for him? You did nothing for him. You left him aimlessly in Illinois, and now he'll sit in decades, hopefully, in jail. Bang up job, Illinois, on that one.
They're the people that Democrats care the most about.
And I don't even care. It's not even ideology for me. It's so simple that it's beyond my comprehension why we sit here and deflect and deceive. Call it what it is. I'm sorry.
Thank you, sir.
So an emotional and pretty passionate back and forth between Senator Ted Cruz and an individual who tragically lost their daughter in an attack and a murder in Illinois. That was one of the debates that took place earlier today in a hearing on citizenship and sanctuary cities. Another discussion happened as they debated DHS funding, whether or not Homeland Security will eventually be funded. This was a back and forth between Democrats and Republicans, both arguing the merit of their perspective. Let's watch.
I propose we fund TSA for the rest of the year. My colleague, as I understand it, has refused to agree to that. And therefore, he's essentially, at this very moment, proposed that we go to a request which funds FEMA and the Coast Guard and cybersecurity and TSA, essentially everything except ICE and CBP, and the other agencies are fee-funded. I'm happy to go to that proposal if my colleague is willing to fund FEMA and Coast Guard and cybersecurity. But I think he's been well aware that he keeps putting a poison pill in here. He keeps asking for Customs and Border Protection to be funded without modifying how they're behaving across the nation. And he keeps asking for ICE to be funded without modifying their actions where they're operating like a secret police. That is why negotiations are underway with the White House over that issue. So let's stop holding FEMA and Coast Guard and cybersecurity and TSA hostage. And I'm happy to put forward a proposal right now that would fund all 4 of those agencies for the balance of this year.
Senator from Ohio.
Says, I think we have a failure to communicate. So let me try one last swing here to make sure that I make it crystal clear. By the way, I absolutely mean this sincerely, absolutely total respect. I know that my Senate colleague from Oregon knows that DHS is more than 4 agencies. I know he knows that. So what I just want to clarify is, in your modification to my modification, yes or no, are you including USCIS?
Madam Chair, I think my colleague can check and see that that is a fee-funded organization.
So you do not want to fund USCIS?
Madam Chair, I think if my colleague checks, he'll find that USCIS is funded through fees, and let me explain what a fee is. A fee is when
Madam President,
Madam Chair, I think I should
he
explain.
answered
The appropriation from my colleague from Ohio, which he doesn't understand how it's funded.
Senator from Ohio has the floor.
He answered my question. I was 5 when I learned where the fee was. So the answer to that question is not including USCIS, which is odd because they do have an appropriations line in the appropriations bill, by the way. So just the answer to that question is no. So no, here's what's ironic. My colleague from Oregon, Madam President, you can't even make this up, wants to not fund the people who are in charge of defending our borders and deporting criminal aliens, but does not want to provide funding for the agency that brings people here legally. Wow, that's a moment. So let's go to this next one. Will you agree to fund the Homeland Investigations Unit? In your proposal, does it include funding for HSI? Yes or no?
Madam President, my colleague is engaged in a dialogue here that I'd be happy to resume at another moment. He's rejected both my proposal to fund TSA. He's rejected my proposal to fund FEMA and cybersecurity and TSA and the Coast Guard. At this very moment, there is a ceremony going on to honor our police officers who protected this Capitol on October 6th. And that is to honor a plaque that has been posted that Senate, in a bipartisan way, agreed to have put up when it was being hidden by the Speaker of the House in some closet. And so I understand the points you are making. I think you understand the points I'm making. I have countered your proposal with a proposal to fund TSA for the balance of the year. I countered your proposal to fund everything in but ICE and CBP. And although you've never said the words, I object, I understand you're objecting through your dialogue. And if I misunderstand that, please say now that you agree to my proposals and we will be done with this conversation. But I really think it'd be good for both of us in a bipartisan way to go down and honor the officers that protected the Capitol.
All right, so just to be crystal clear, because again, this is getting a little deeply ambiguous. Is the senator from Oregon suggesting that we fund the entirety of the Department of Homeland Security, everything, the entirety of Homeland Security, with the exception of Customs, the people who inspect packages, the people who greet people at Portland International Airport, and Border Patrol, and Homeland Investigations and Enforcement Removal of Operations? Is that correct?
Madam Chair, my understanding is the second proposal I put forward, my understanding is the second proposal funds everything but ICE and CBP, is my understanding of the Murray bill.
Does the senator from Ohio agree to that modification?
I would agree to one. We're almost there, by the way. This is actually very important. Like, we're making a lot of progress here. And I think the plaque will be there for a long, long time. So here's where we're at. Just for recap, we used to have 10 commandments in my company. We used to have commandment number 11 was thou shalt recap. So let's just recap where we are. Senator from Oregon, on behalf of the Democrat Party, is saying that he's willing to do right now, fund the entirety of the Department of Homeland Security, everything, every single agency of the Department of Homeland Security, but is carving out the Customs and Border Patrol Division and the entirety of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which includes these guys, the guys who chase down bad guys. So I would ask that you take a look at the Collins Amendment, H.R. 7147, calendar number 311. Let's include the guys that chase the really bad guys. I'll agree to your proposal. If you include the guys who chase the really bad guys, Homeland Security investigations, and include the guys who greet people at your airport. Like, what you're suggesting is don't pay the guys that screen people who are leaving. You want to pay them, but don't pay the people who are taking care of the people coming back in. Like, boop, boop, boop. This is backwards land. Let's fund everybody at the airport. So why wouldn't we fund Customs? In fact, why wouldn't we fund Customs, the guys in the blue? If you have an issue with Border Patrol, the guys in their green jackets, is that what you're saying, that you would agree to fund everybody but Border Patrol and enforcement removal operations? Because I think we're super close. We can finish this dialogue and bring peace and tranquility to 260,000 families. Are you willing to do that? Was the Senator of Oregon willing to modify that one little tweak just in between? We're there saying, hey, let's include HSI, let's include the guys that patrolling our border, let's include the customs guys. Or are you saying, no, if we pay people at the airport who receive visitors from foreign countries and the people who guard our border, who are doing an amazing job, and the people who are chasing bad guys, because you won't fund those three things, I'm saying, well, good. We'll put enforcement removal operations on the side. By the way, $5 billion haircut to this budget. Why don't we just do that? The Senator from Oregon, will you accept that? Let's get this done. Okay. Make the American people very happy and have glorious news for a lot of American families. Look, think of the power you have right now. The power you have right now to feed 254,000 American families by the words that are going to come out of your mouth. I would ask all of us to have the humility to understand how powerful it is, your next words, because your next words will provide the paycheck for 254,000 American families. Please, I beg you, please, please do the compassionate thing, and then we'll work on ERO later.
Madam Chair, is that a question?
Yes.
I'd be happy to answer the question twice when I'm answered questions. My colleague has reclaimed the floor in the middle of it. Do you intend to actually let me answer the question this time? He's not responding,
yeah, of
which
course.
means he's reserving the right to object when I get partway into the explanation to his question. But let's be clear. Because of the sequence of events in which I proposed 2 modifications and he rejected 2 modifications, he rejected and objected to paying through the end of September the TSA. And then I proposed that we fund everything except for CBP and for ICE, because those are the 2 issues under negotiation with the president. And he has again objected to, and he's proposing a 2-week extension, and then people don't get paid again. So we're going to bring this to a close because essentially my colleague has asked me to participate in this debate, and it was very clever, and I've willingly done so. But I think 26 weeks is a whole lot better than 2 weeks. And so since my colleague objected to paying TSA, objected to paying everyone in Homeland Security except for ICE and CBP because that's under negotiation with the House and with the President, I have objected to his 2-week extension. Thank you, Madam President.
Objection is heard.
All right, let's just spend 60 more seconds here to recap what we got. So my colleague from Oregon, representing the Democrats, because we gave him a lot of time to kind of figure out how to come here, has said that what the position of the Democrat Party today is, today's position, different Saturday, by the way,